Welcome to the Ringer Fantasy Football Show. My name is Dan Heifetz, and I'm joined by Danny Kelly and Craig Horlbeck, and we are previewing Week 3 of the fantasy football season and the NFL season, just Week 3 in general. We're going to go through all the games. We're going to see if Craig jinxed any of the Thursday Night Football players or something he'll say later. And then, we're going to just go through everyone. Fantasyfootball.theringer.com. If you want our rankings for start-sit rankings, it is there. And then also, ranked days of the week.
Yeah, we power rank days of the week at the end of the year. Or at the end of the episode. It's the most important ranking we've ever put together. So stick around for that. Also, Ice Cube is here. We got a great show for you tonight. We'll be right back.
This episode of the Ringer Fantasy Football Show is presented by Hyundai. The all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid proves that an incredible SUV is so much more than the sum of its parts. It's more than a spacious interior. It's more than being able to navigate difficult terrain. And it's way more than driving farther than you ever thought possible. It's the all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid. So much more than just another SUV. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details. Okay, we're just going to go through all the games that are happening this week, and we're going to go a little out of order because, frankly, the Monday Night Football game is so much better and more interesting than everything else happening this week that I actually want to start with Monday Night Football because the Baltimore Ravens are hosting the Detroit Lions. Somehow Ravens are favored by almost 6 points. Ravens lead the NFL in scoring. Lions are third in scoring. I think this is the two most fun teams in the entire league that don't play all the time, right, DK?
Oh, yeah. I think this is going to be a back and forth game. Like you said, two of the best offenses in the NFL. And I don't know if either team's defenses have been especially impressive so far. So hopefully a lot of points and hopefully a lot of fantasy points for us. God bless
Excuse
you.
me.
Sorry. Craig's allergic. Craig's just allergic to you saying the Ravens defense is no good.
No, you know who I'm allergic to? Mark Andrews. That's who I'm allergic to. This is kind of the disappointing tight ends bowl. Sam Laporta versus Mark Andrews. Laporta much less disappointing than Mark Andrews. But Heifetz last week after Mark Andrews' disappointing performance where he had 5 yards. He had 2 last week and he had 5 in week 1. That's right. The Ravens have 81 points this year and Mark Andrews has 7 yards. But you said you would continue to start him. I don't think I would. And I've received multiple texts from people. Sorry to just jump right into whether or not you should start Mark Andrews, but it is top of mind for a lot of people, I think, this year. Mark Andrews almost caught a touchdown last week. He got punched out of his hands after he caught it in the end zone. He does have 2 red end zone targets this year, which is kind of Mark Andrews' bread and butter. How are you feeling about Mark Andrews? Because I am not starting him until he shows me something.
Whether or not you specifically should play him is tough because it depends on who your options are. If you happen to have Tyler Warren on your team, then sure, play Tyler Warren over Mark Andrews.
But are you going to the waiver wire to get one of the waiver wire tight ends to play over Mark Andrews?
If Harold Fannin is there or Zach Ertz, sure, you could play Zach Ertz over Mark Andrews if you want. But generally speaking, I guess let me flip it on you. If Mark Andrews had caught the touchdown last week, would you bench him?
Isn't that just the worst part of fantasy?
Well, I think the answer obviously is no. And so I'm like, who cares? It was a great punch. It wasn't like a drop. It was an incredible right or left hook into the ball, and it happened to be bad timing. And honestly, if it was a quarter second longer, the Ravens almost challenged that play because Mark Andrews had the ball for so long, they were wondering if it was possession. Anyway, the point being, the Ravens have 81 points this season. It's the most in the NFL. It's a juggernaut offense. Okay, all right, Derrick Henry had 12 yards last week. You going to bench him? No.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
He had 40 the week before.
Okay, Mark Andrews had 11 touchdowns in 10 games last year during a stretch. He's almost had 2 touchdowns in 2 weeks. I'm not going to sit here and bang the table. Mark Andrews will definitely be incredible on Monday night. I'm just saying, I kind of doubt you have a tight end that is more talented or getting better opportunities than Mark Andrews, who still is going to own tight end snaps on the best offense in the entire NFL. And the difference in this game is the Ravens defense is still good. The Lions defense sucks. And not sucks, but I'm not impressed with it as much. I think Andrews
is his underlying numbers are so stinky, it's not even funny.
I wouldn't even say he owns snaps, Heifetz. I mean, Charlie Kohler is running, I would say, about half the snaps Andrews is, which is a lot. Mark Andrews is running 75% of the snaps, and Charlie Kohler is running 60.
Do you guys
By
want
the
me
way,
to
there's a guy in the Ravens named Charlie Kohler, and he's a tight end. Isaiah Likely's not even playing in these games.
He's a blocking tight end.
He's running routes. He ran 15 routes versus Andrews 26 last week.
Ugh.
They also beat the Browns by like 40 points.
It was the same in week one. Week one, they ran the same percentage of route splits. It was like 15-7. I don't know.
That game was also. My answer is I think cutting Mark Andrews this year would be just as foolish as cutting him last year was.
Not cutting, but benching.
I think if you want to bench him, sure. But I'm like, this is going to be I think if you bench him, he's going to go off, and if you play him, maybe he'll suck. But I'm like, I don't know. DK hates Mark Andrews too.
Well, I was going to read to you guys an assortment of tight ends. So first of all, Mark Andrews is the tight end 34 in target rate this year, which is 8%.
He has 4 targets.
He has 4 targets and 2 catches in 2 games. Here's an assortment of players that have a higher target rate than Mark Andrews. Noah Gray from the Chiefs. Elijah Higgins, the tight end 2 on the Cardinals. AJ Barner on the Seahawks. Dawson Knox, Kate Otten, Mike Gesicki, Jake Tonges, Pat Freiermuth, Brenton Strange. I could go on. There's like literally 33 of them. Anyway, I would say you absolutely have to get a touchdown or it's touchdown or bust with him. And so, especially considering his track record of catching passes in the end zone, I'm out. I'm out until he does something.
Yeah, I think you have to be out until he does something.
It depends who you have. And I kind of I don't know if your options are better.
I think if you just can add Hunter Henry, I think you honestly play Hunter Henry until Mark Andrews does something. Maybe that's insane.
Watch him just go off this week, Craig.
He probably will.
Because
that's why you shouldn't cut him. You shouldn't cut him.
Everyone else, again, this will be a fun game. The Lions are coming off the best game they've had in yards per play in team's history. And then the Ravens could be the first team in NFL history to score 40 points in each of their first 3 games. Mark Andrews could be the first tight end to drop a touchdown in games that his team scored 40 points in each of the first 3 games in the NFL. That would also be a record. I think this is just going to be, this is just a really fun game. There's a world where we should have had this game as a Super Bowl already in the last couple of years. I will say the Ravens, last time they played the Lions 2 years ago, they won 38-6, I think. The Ravens destroyed Detroit, and there's a world where Derrick Henry the Ravens are kind of built to beat Detroit in some ways.
If Derrick Henry doesn't get rolling in this game, are you going to start worrying? Or is it still too early?
He had 2. How many yards did he have in week 1? He had a great week 1. 190 or something like that.
He had
170 and 2 touchdowns.
120 at halftime.
You're worried about him?
No, kind of. No, I'm not. Definitely not.
You guys, what have you done for me lately?
Yeah, that's very true. I live my life 1 week at a time.
I'm not worried about Derrick Henry.
Okay, good. Thank you. I needed that.
Anything else in this game?
Well, to be honest, I'm just kind of surprised that the Ravens are favored by 5.5. I guess because they're home and Goff on the road every time I look at these Goff home versus road splits, they are jarring. His touchdown percentage doubles at home. It's basically 3 versus 6 in fantasy as well. In fantasy on the road, Jared Goff 13 points a game, which is unstartable, one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. When he's at home, 20 points a game, which is top 7. One of the best fantasy, that's on par with the top 4 guys. It's pretty remarkable.
DK and I have a theory on this, Craig. I don't know if you know this. People think that Goff is bad away because it's the Lions and they have a dome and everything, a home field advantage. DK and I think Jared Goff is one of those people who can't poop while he's traveling.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Get all backed up.
Yeah. People think he shits the bed on the road. It's actually, he can't shit at all until he gets home.
It's tough, man.
Dude, I can't sleep. The first 2 nights on the road in a hotel, I always sleep poorly. I wonder if their NFL players have sleep remedies or kind of have their on the road sleep strategy that helps them. Because if I got to a place and had to play a game in a day or 2, I don't know if I could do it. I'd feel like shit.
Yeah, every hotel
I slept
room
like shit last night. I'm on the road right now. I slept terrible last night.
Yeah. Every hotel is a little different. There's always different weird noises from the AC. Half the time I go to a hotel room, the AC doesn't even work.
Are you one of the big noise? You're a big temperature control and noise while sleep control guy.
Yeah. Temperature to me is a big deal. And for some reason, I'm really unlucky about going to hotel. I've literally in the last year gone to a hotel and they have to come in and fix the AC. I had to move rooms one time because it just doesn't fucking work.
The New Orleans situation was pretty dire, and the hotel was rough. And then we went to an Airbnb that had 6 beds in 1 room.
I don't think NFL teams are dealing with that kind of thing, but that'd be funny if they were.
Maybe the Bengals, but yeah.
You
get a roommate for the road.
Going to the Sunday games here, the early window, as some call it, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, noon Central.
What time is it in Europe?
11 Mountain. I don't know.
Okay.
+5 or whatever.
Middle of the night
6.
in Europe.
The Bengals are playing. They're at Minnesota. The undefeated Bengals are with Jake Browning are going to play against Carson Wentz and the Minnesota Vikings.
It's crazy that we're here and it's week 3 and we're already to the Jake Browning versus Carson Wentz Bowl. Everyone's been waiting for this.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe, knock on wood, 0 starting running backs have been injured so far to start the season, and
God,
5 starting quarterbacks have.
Wow, that's brutal. Thanks for saying that. You didn't really need to do that, but I don't know if
I'm cursing all running backs.
I'm just kidding.
No, I just think now one of those Thursday Night Football players is probably in jeopardy.
Yeah.
So that when everyone listening to this is probably like, wow, that's Craig's fault, wasn't it?
I don't really believe in all that, but it is funny that you said that. Okay, I want to go back and because I couldn't really remember kind of how Carson Wentz's career went down the spiral into the shitter over the last few years of his career. So basically, I wanted to give you a quick refresher. After washing out in Philly, Carson Wentz went to Indianapolis in 2021. He threw 27 touchdowns and 7 picks and went 9-8. However, they had a late season collapse. I think they had a 97% chance to get into the playoffs at one point, and then they lost their last 2 games to blow it. Jim Irsay said, quote, an epic shortfall that stunned and shocked and appalled us all. And then basically the Colts internally, I was reading some reports, and basically internally they never saw Carson Wentz as like a franchise quarterback type of guy. He just wasn't the type of leader that they were looking for. Reading between the lines, this is what we've kind of been saying over the last few years. He's just like a bad hang. Like he's just not a good guy to have in the locker room. People don't like him. So they went and they traded him to Washington, which I completely forgot about. And they signed Matt Ryan instead in 2022. Matt Ryan was an absolute disaster, I believe. And then Carson Wentz broke his finger after just 7 games with the Commanders. I kind of have totally memory hold his time with Commanders. I don't think I have any recollection of Carson Wentz in a Commander's uniform. Do you guys even remember that?
What year was this?
It was 2022. And he played 7 games.
That was when he did the left-handed pick 6 at his own goal line.
No, that was for the Colts.
Commander. Or was that the Colts? Yeah, there were a lot, though. I don't know.
Maybe there was another one. I can't remember.
Probably, yeah, it might have been 2.
But I completely I just have no recollection of that time, which was part of the reason I wanted to go back.
I can't even picture him in the uniform.
So,
no, honestly can't. So after that, he broke his finger after 7 games real quick, just to finish up. He was replaced by Taylor Heineke, and that was kind of it. I think he came in very late in the season and played horribly. In 2023, he went to the Rams to kind of rejuvenate or rehabilitate his career. That didn't work. 2024, he spent with the Chiefs. And now, here we are. Him starting for the Vikings.
So
I mean, he's going from McVay to Reed to Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah.
Who's
Maybe
had
he's back.
tutelage? Yeah.
We got an email from Jim because I bucketed Wentz in with the group of guys Jim! There's a group of quarterbacks that I think were never the same after an injury that don't get classified that way. Marcus Mariota had a nerve injury. Daniel Jones had a neck injury. Guys were just never the same. And I said Wentz is in that group post ACL. And Jim emailed in and was like, honestly, the actual turning point, if you look at Wentz's numbers, Jim was arguing it's not the ACL. He had a horrific concussion after Jadeveon Clowney hit him crazy hard after the 2019 season, and that Wentz's before and after splits are like preposterously different. And obviously, I don't know, but it is an awful hit. And honestly, the splits are like before and after are pretty unbelievable. And so I don't know. It's interesting. This is famous last words. I don't know if the Vikings offense can be that much worse than what we've seen. Obviously, Carson Wentz can go and do a crazy turnover. JJ McCarthy wasn't necessarily doing insane turnovers. So maybe Wentz could throw like 2 pick sixes and lose single-handedly. But I'm like, if we're being honest, the upside short term is higher for the Vikings with Carson Wentz right now, if the downside is also lower.
I think the big variable that I'm going to be looking at in this game when the Vikings take the offensive field or whatever is the run rate, because basically over the last few years, even when you go back to when they were playing, Nick Mullins was starting, Josh Dobbs was starting, Jaron Hall started a couple games for Minnesota back in 2023. The Vikings still threw the ball a lot. Like pass rate over expectation was still very high. That is, I think, the offense that Kevin O'Connell wants to run. That's when they're at their best. Justin Jefferson, TJ Hawkinson, they're getting Jordan Addison back, I think, next week, but their offense is best when they're passing the football, and they've shown that over the years. So, and when McCarthy came in, this offense was a very run heavy, very slow. They're basically taking, everything off, trying to take everything off of JJ McCarthy's shoulders. And so this offense could be very different looking.
And key to this game is also Aaron Jones, the running back for the Vikings, actually went on injured reserve with a hamstring injury.
Yeah.
So Jordan Mason's going to be the starter. If you have Jordan Mason, he's an absolute must play just because I just think he's going to have so much more trust from
and
the
he's looked good
offense.
already this year. He wasn't like a backup who's now getting the starting role. He was the true 1B or maybe even 1A before Aaron Jones went down.
So there was one running back injury.
I guess that's true.
Yeah.
So, Jordan Mason. And then the flip side of this, the Bengals with Jake Browning. I think Browning will be a lot better. I think you always need to be a little cautious. Well, I guess for fantasy, Jake Browning was awesome because he got Jamar Chase 170 yards and 2 touchdowns.
He's like mini Jameis. He just pushes it.
I think generally speaking, quarterbacks are way better when they prepare for the week as the starter. And so when a backup comes in and looks bad, don't ever over extrapolate that to how they'll perform the next week because they didn't get to throw any footballs in practice.
Right.
And then they just went in the game. And so when they get to prepare as the starter for the whole week, they generally play better. And so I don't actually think Browning's, I kind of wonder if the Bengals are going to win this game. I don't know. But we'll see. I mean, the Vikings are favored by 3, but I mean, it'd be surprising if the Bengals went into 1, but you still play
bet on
Higgins.
2 backup quarterback games,
You're still playing Higgins, Chase Brown on Cincinnati. You're still playing Justin Jefferson. I think for a good example to me, are you playing TJ Hawkinson with Carson Wentz? Or are you playing Mark Andrews on Monday Night Football versus the Lions? Because
that's a really good question. I think I would
probably don't have those 2 players, but
maybe Hawkinson on this one. I'm hoping this is Hawkinson, his chance to kind of get back on the map because I think he has 2 catches this year, something really small so far too. I'm just hoping this offense goes faster.
He has 4 catches for 21 yards this year.
Yeah.
So the next game here, we got the Rams are at the Eagles, which is
a good game.
Probably the best game of the early window, right, Greg?
Definitely. This is a fascinating game to me because I don't think the Eagles have looked that good. And I think the Rams quietly have looked pretty good. And the Rams were the closest to beating the Eagles last year in the playoffs. That game, it was a 1-point game in the fourth quarter, and the Rams fumbled twice in that fourth quarter. It was Kyren Williams, and then I think Stafford got sacked and fumbled.
Jalen Carter came right up in the middle, and Stafford had a touchdown open, and then Jalen Carter just got him before Stafford could let it go.
Yeah, and honestly, the Rams have been playing well. Defensively, they've been playing well. They've played the Titans and the Texans offensive line, so you can't exactly maybe take too much from that. But I don't know, man. I just think this is a fascinating game for the Eagles. And if they're just going to once again try to muck this game up, run the ball, not throw the ball deep, win by 2 points, score 20, win 20-17. The last time these two teams played, Jalen Hurts was sacked 7 times, which is the most of his career. And the Eagles' offensive line this year quietly has not been as good as it used to be. They haven't really been running the ball as well, and Hurts has been seeing a lot more pressure. So I think there's a real chance this is like a pretty ugly, mucked up defensive line game. And the biggest fantasy question to me is like A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. You're still starting them, obviously. Like it's A.J. Brown. He was much better last week in terms of like targets. He got 8 targets, which is decent. However, they were all 4 yards through the air. I was trying to think of a player. Is A.J. Brown the worst of the elite players in fantasy that you would basically start every week all year until he produces? Like, how low would you go before you're like, no, I would eventually just bench this guy? Like, if A.J. Brown is just fully healthy all season playing for the Eagles, or you're kind of just starting him every year, even if he has 4 catches for 30 yards every single game, right?
I think it depends. It does depend. He's at the point now where I'm like, if you have someone else who's doing really well and getting consistent volume, I might actually lean that way. I am still confident that he's going to get rolling and get going. But it's a mental hurdle to put him back in again when he's done absolutely nothing so far.
Because there are certain players, right? Like when you have the pedigree, it's a lot harder to bench these guys. If Ashton Genty was just terrible for 5 straight weeks, I could actually see you being like, you know what, I'm going to bench him. Or like Chase Brown.
Brian Thomas of the Jaguars is the best example.
But when it's like a Amon-Ra St. Brown or obviously Jamar Chase or Nico Collins, Justin Jefferson, all those guys, you're kind of like, I think I just have to start them every single week because of who they are. I do think A.J. Brown's in that camp. But yeah, man, I mean, the Rams are missing Akello Witherspoon. He went on IR, their cornerback. Their corners right now are not great. They have Emmanuel Forbes. They have what was our nickname for him?
Flat Stanley.
Flat Stanley.
160-pound cornerback in the first round. 160.
First round for Washington. He's now on the Rams. He's one of their 2 corners. The last
there
time
are so many listeners right now that are heavier than Emmanuel Forbes listening. And like he is an NFL player.
He's playing in the league.
The last time that A.J. Brown played against Emmanuel Forbes, he had 9 catches for 175 yards and 2 touchdowns.
I bet they'll keep him away from Emmanuel Forbes. Or rather, the Rams will keep Emmanuel Forbes away from A.J. Brown.
Yeah. I think I like the Rams in this game, and I think it's going to be a close game, but I like the Rams. The Rams are playing well.
Just to be clear, nobody bench A.J. Brown. If you're thinking about it, just don't do that.
No, you can't. You got to wait a long time.
I would play him. He could have under 5 points. I would say 6 or 7 straight weeks, and I would still play him one more week.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
That'll be an interesting game. The other game, so the Steelers are in New England this week. How you feeling about that, Craig?
I think this is a winnable game for Pittsburgh. I think New England has not gotten off to the hottest start, I would say. I think Drake May's been okay. They let up a lot of yards to Tua and the Dolphins. And so if Christian Gonzalez is not back, the Patriots corner, which he's back at practice, but I think he's still TBD if he's playing this week. I think the Steelers have a shot to kind of get back on track. I still don't think they were as bad as the box score suggested against Seattle. Seattle's also a great defense. So yeah, I mean, this basically comes down to like, are the Steelers ever going to be able to run the ball? And I don't know if they will. I think Jalen Warren's a good player, but Caleb Johnson's not going to be playing a lot. They have Kenneth Gainwell, who's like a replacement player, and I don't think the offensive line is that good. And even though Rodgers is under center a lot, they're using that mostly for play action and stuff like that. But if you can't run the ball, that stuff's going to stop working. So I think that's the big question for me on the Pittsburgh side is like, are they ever going to be able to run the football? Which has been an issue for the Steelers for a long time. I mean, even with Najee Harris, they were never a great running team because the offensive line has just always been bad. And they've been in the shotgun most of the time. So I don't know. I do think this is a winnable game though. And Stephon Diggs is probably, his mind is elsewhere because Cardi B's pregnant with his son.
Yeah,
which must be factored in.
Yeah,
she seems very excited about it.
Does she?
I did. I saw an interview with her. She announced that she's very excited.
How did she say I'm pregnant with Patriots wide receiver Stephon Diggs' baby? How did she say it?
Kind of, actually. Yeah, the host kind of said it, and then she was like, "Yes, can confirm." And it was like an interview, and she's happy about it. It's nice. They seem happy together.
Great. Are they a couple?
Yeah, they're dating.
They are? I didn't know that.
This was part of the... You didn't dive into
this
any
is
of the boat lore,
they were on the boat with Cardi B and
this
all
is
her
the
friends.
boat lore.
Cardi was on that boat.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
she
it was
might
Cardi
have taken the video.
Got it. Because she wasn't in the video, so I guess maybe that's why I didn't really realize she was on the boat.
Yes.
That's good for her.
Anyway, but yeah, so I think this game, I agree. I mean, the Steelers haven't been able to run the ball, frankly, since after that, like, James Conner replacing
what we
Le'Veon
really
Bell season.
need, the most important thing, is that Aaron Rodgers stays healthy.
Yes, I will say. So next week's episode, the next version we do of this Friday show, we're going to be in Dublin. We're going to Dublin in Ireland for the Steelers-Vikings game that will be there. First game in Ireland for the NFL ever. And we are already down one quarterback because it's already going to be Carson Wentz in Minnesota. We're for Minnesota in Dublin. And if Rodgers gets hurt and it's Mason Rudolph versus Carson Wentz, we're going to have to check the cancellation policy on some of the stuff we booked.
But I think there should be a refund on the ticket. They should be half off if it's Mason Rudolph versus Carson Wentz.
Write that down, NFL. I will say, but to your point, I just don't think the Steelers are going to be able to run in the Patriots. Even last week, Achane had some big plays, but I mean, they were all in the receiving game. Like the Dolphins going to run. I don't think
that's where I think Jalen Warren could come in like the screen game, kind of like in the same manner that the Dolphins were utilizing Achane, is just get him out in space. He looked incredible last week, I should say, in the screen game. He had that one play where he broke like 7 tackles and gained like 50 yards. So I think, and I know that Aaron Rodgers this week was talking about trying to get more opportunities for Jalen Warren. He's kind of like Rodgers' guy right now. So I would be excited to start Jalen Warren this week in particular. What
really needs to happen is the Steelers defense needs to go back to being the Steelers defense. There's a lot of shit talk out there now. There's a lot of negative press about what's been going on the defensive side of the ball for the Steelers, which is the most expensive unit in the league. They're old, they're expensive, and they're playing like shit right now. They've allowed a league high 22 plays of 15 yards or more through 2 weeks. And New England is not a formidable offense, in my opinion. And
Again,
this is the week the Steelers need to look like the Steelers defensively.
It's part personnel. It's also just Tomlin, man. Tomlin also
I know.
There's a
people are blaming Terrell Austin, and it's like it's not Terrell Austin, it's Mike Tomlin.
I love Tomlin, and if the Steelers fired him, I would hope the Giants would pay an unfathomable amount for Mike Tomlin to coach the New York Giants. So with that caveat, my only issue with Tomlin through the years is a remarkable ability for Steelers coordinators to constantly be criticized without like it kind of seeping as if Tomlin is not their boss and can tell them what to do. I don't know. It always kind of bothers me.
The Steelers right now.
They need to not get ripped by Drake May. If Drake May plays well, that's
here's Kayshon Boutte and Mac Hollins rip the Steelers. I'm going to be pretty upset.
It's over. Craig, the Steelers right now are 27th in defensive DVOA, which is kind of unfathomable. I just can't, especially for the most expensive unit in the NFL. They're 29th against the pass, 27th against the run.
And again, don't forget, I know it's the Ravens, so it doesn't count and it gets lost, but the last two games the Steelers played versus the Ravens last season, they gave up 500 rushing yards. 500 rushing yards across two different games.
Ugh.
And then now that's bleeding into this season. The
Steelers made Justin Fields look like Lamar Jackson, and then the next week Fields threw for 27 yards.
Yeah, that's not good, is it?
When you put it that way, that's tough. 27 yards.
That's crazy.
Craig, that's like 90 feet.
That's actually pretty far. That's not so bad.
Think about it that way.
All right, the Ringer Fantasy Football Show is brought to you by FanDuel, and FanDuel is turning up the heat every Sunday with Power Hour, the ultimate live betting window where the action is wild and the rewards are even better. Here's how it works. Every Sunday from 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern, FanDuel is giving you a profit boost to use on live bets during the most intense stretch of the NFL slate. This is when games flip, underdogs rally, parlays hit. It's your Power Hour on FanDuel. Power Hour, it's a great name. The games I think are going to come down to the wire. I kind of do actually think Steelers-Patriots will come down to the wire solely because it's a Mike Vrabel team versus a Mike Tomlin team, and I just think that will be close. I also just think Bengals-Vikings is actually going to come down to the wire. Like, I just think the Carson Wentz, Jake Browning thing, I do think that those are two games that when you get to the fourth quarter, I just think those games are going to be close. Open the FanDuel app between 3 and 5 p.m. Eastern. Claim your profit boost and make your move while the action unfolds every Sunday only on FanDuel. Head to FanDuel.com/RingerFantasy to get started. Must be 21 plus and present in select states or 18 plus and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. Next game here that I think is sneaky interesting. I won't pretend it's super interesting, but I actually do think it's sneakily interesting is the Texans are at Jacksonville this week, and the Texans are 0-2, DK. But then the Jaguars are also kind of a reeling 1-1.
Yeah, this is a interesting matchup in particular because I'm worried about the Jaguars offense and getting things going. The Texans defense has been really strong. They have a really good defensive line. They have a really good pass rush, and they have very good defensive secondary. So the Jags vibes this last week were atrocious. You get pictures of Trevor Lawrence like waving off Liam Cohen. I know that stuff happens like in every game. Guys yell at each other, whatever, when things are not going very well. But
yeah,
it's a little disconcerting. That's like happening in week 2. I don't know. What do you think?
When it's a new coach and quarterback pair, you don't want to see that in week 2. You know, if you see Brady and Belichick like 12 years in bitching to one another, you're like, okay, they're like a married couple.
It's like an old married couple. Yep.
Yeah. You know, this is a little more concerning. I mean, they had to address it in the pressers and it was kind of awkward the way Liam Cohen is talking about Brian Thomas is weird. The way Trevor Lawrence had to kind of talk about Liam Cohen was weird. The whole thing is a little weird.
I kind of don't mind seeing this from Trevor Lawrence. I actually think Trevor Lawrence needs to be a little more vocal. Like I actually like seeing Trevor Lawrence kind of getting to that point where he's like wants things done the way he wants to do them.
The way he wants to do them, like throwing picks in the end zone. That's the way he wants to do them.
I think Lawrence
just let me be
more assertive. But DK, what is going on with Brian Thomas? Can you give us some what is going on with Brian Thomas?
Brian Thomas, I think among all fantasy players, maybe the most disappointing start. I'm trying to think of other guys. There's probably a few others that are around that area, but Brian Thomas, especially when you consider his expected fantasy points, are pretty strong. According to fantasypoints.com, 16 points per game, expected fantasy points, and he's only averaging 9 points per game.
He has 5 catches for 60 yards this season, right?
Yeah, and some of that is just, I think last week there was 2 instances at least where he made very obvious business decisions where he's going over the middle of the field and there's a pass that's into tight coverage. You could argue it's a dangerous pass or a hospital ball or whatever.
The phrase hospital ball is having a moment right now.
Right. You could say that is what they are, but the fact that he's stopping and not going for these footballs is disconcerting nonetheless. One of those actually led to an interception for Trevor Lawrence. The one I think there was one in the end zone that he was really going to get crunched, and I almost agree with him, like kind of holding off that. But the other one, he ran a route over the middle of the field. Trevor Lawrence like tried to throw it to him. He kind of like stopped, reached out his hand, and then the ball got picked. So there is a really. It's just like a weird lack of chemistry between those two right now.
And there's also like a wrist thing going on with him, but that's also like a little weird.
That wasn't on the injury report, which is also just weird. So there's a lot going on here. You've had to have sort of team therapy via like these press conferences where Liam Cohen is defending Brian Thomas, and Brian Thomas's interviews are really bad. Like the vibes are awful in these interviews, and he's not saying much. And then put it all together, and Trevor Lawrence is not playing very well either, by the way. He has 3 interceptions this year, which is second most among all quarterbacks. Just a 58% completion rate. Their offense is kind of a mess, at least in the passing game. And that's all despite him being the least pressured quarterback in the league so far. And now he's playing the Texans, which is going to turn up the heat on him and really cause a lot of problems, I think. And so I don't know what the fuck to think for this Jags team. And I think Brian Thomas will eventually get back to where he's supposed to be. If you look at the underlying usage and the targets and where he's getting these targets, like he will start scoring points, but I don't know for sure if I feel confident it's this week.
I agree for a lot of reasons, DK. And it's my instinct at first is to hand wave all this and be like, I think the Jags are going to be okay. I still believe in Lawrence. I still believe in all this stuff. It's concerning because it's the first 2 weeks of the year, but I can't get over that. If you were going to rank defenses that you just think, like if you're Liam Cohen, not like a fantasy manager, but if you're just like Liam Cohen, and you're like, who do I think I can get this offense to move the ball on? Your first pick is probably Carolina, and your third pick is probably Cincinnati. And those are the first 2 games that Jacksonville had, and they were able to move it on Carolina, like probably, but I just, the fact they didn't win that Bengals game last week, and now that they're just going to go, and Houston, I think if there are basically this to me, I don't want to be like it's week 1 for Jacksonville, but this is a huge game because it's divisional. And whether or not this Liam Cohen thing's going to work, I don't want to be too dramatic about like it's week 3. It is what it is. But the Texans defense, I do think is
it's legit.
It's so legit. Will Anderson is so good.
Their secondary is good.
Bernard. Yeah, everything about it. I mean, the way that Derek Stingley was all over Mike Evans, like I think, frankly, Brian Thomas versus Derek Stingley. I think Derek Stingley this season is playing a lot better than Brian Thomas. And there's like 3 cornerbacks who travel. Derek Stingley's one of them. I do think he'll be on Thomas the whole game, or at least as much as they can. And yeah, man, mark this down for when we do Ringer 107 at the end of the show and go through our bets. I think I had to double check this. The Jaguars are favored. I'm like, The Texans are a significantly better team. And I understand that the Texans offense looked bad last week on Monday Night Football, but that's with the Buccaneers. And I'm like, that's Vita Vea in the middle of the defense versus the Texans. I'm like, the Jaguars have talent. They have high draft picks on their defensive line. But I don't think they have anyone like Vita Vea. So I'm like, I don't think the Texans, everything else about this, I think is very geared toward moving the football in Jacksonville on their defense. And also I kind of think the Texans defense could completely overwhelm Jacksonville. And I hope that's not the case, but it's my fear.
I agree. Also, you can't discount 0-2 versus 1-1 and what that does for you from a motivational standpoint. If the Texans lose this game, they're 0-3 in the AFC South. Meanwhile, the Colts are playing the Titans.
Yes.
If the Colts win that game, they're going to be 3-0 and the Texans are going to be 0-3.
100%.
Very, very difficult to come back from that.
Dude.
So this game means a lot to Houston.
I couldn't agree more. I had that. So like the next game here I had was that the Colts are playing the Titans. And if the Colts win that game, the Colts drop the Titans to 0-3 too. Mm-hmm. So the Titans would be 0-3. And then the Texans, if they lose, would be 0-3. And then the Colts would be 3-0, which is a pretty commanding lead. 3 weeks in, where you're 3 games ahead of everyone in the division except the Jaguars would be 2-1. I mean, that's pretty amazing. So I agree. I mean, the Colts one, I kind of don't. it's funny because I still think the Colts might be a little fraudulent, but because I don't think Daniel Jones is actually the reason they're winning. But I think the defense might be legit for the Colts. I think that Daniel Jones is
the
playing
reason why
fine.
they're winning is it's not Anthony Richardson.
Yeah,
that's why. It's not Daniel Jones. It's not Anthony Richardson.
I will say one thing,
it's replacement level quarterback.
One thing to mention on this game is
you guys don't want to be mean to Anthony Richardson.
No, I don't.
No, no. It's concerning that Daniel Jones has, in my mind, done so little, and that Anthony Richardson could not be quarterbacking this team.
They're having a historic start to the season. Like literally, they haven't punted the ball.
They haven't punted
with Daniel Jones, and I guess they have Tyler Warren now, which makes a difference. But
well, yeah, I'm gonna make you decide right now. Do you think Daniel Jones is playing well or not? Like, do you think this week Daniel Jones goes back to a pumpkin or throws for like 300 yards and like makes us reckon with he's actually have a good season? If you had to pick.
I would pick that he's going to have another good game.
Same.
I think this is the pumpkin game for Jones.
I'm
not saying that
okay.
I do. I'm not saying the Colts win. The only thing I actually think I would
lose.
I actually think the Titans. I wanted to pick them to win, but I think what the Colts are doing on defense is very impressive, and I'm a little concerned about Cam Ward. He's still a rookie, all that stuff. But I do think defensively, I think the Titans are better prepared to send Daniel Jones back to earth than the other teams they've played. And I just think, frankly,
Denver, they just played Denver.
Yeah, but Patrick Surtain, I know Patrick Surtain hurt his ankle like very early in that game. And the Colts had an interesting strategy where they're just like, we're going to go at these guys. And on one hand, it's like, it was a little ballsy where they're like, we're going to go at these cornerbacks because we're bigger than them. And the Colts do have a giant receiving room. I'm also kind of like, Patrick Surtain kind of rolled his ankle in the middle of that game. And I'm like, you're right. Like in theory, if they could do it to Denver, they could do it to anyone. I kind of want to see it one more time.
That's fine. I'm going to stop. I'll just keep metaphorically betting on the Colts until they screw me.
Well, that's the thing is like Jones, though, it doesn't matter because for fantasy purposes, like he's going to run. Like Daniel Jones can play like ass and still be a top 5 fantasy quarterback because just for the rushing alone. And Tyler Warren also, it's going to be so many screens. Like I think the Colts pieces you have are going to roll all season. Daniel Jones, every week he plays, will be a good fantasy asset for the rushing. Tyler Warren is going to catch so many more passes than basically all tight ends -3 every week. And then Jonathan Taylor is going to just be absolutely force-fed as a running back. And there you go. And then I think Pittman is going to be like a viable, wherever you drafted him, he'll be better than that. And so I do think the Colts pieces are going to be good all season for fantasy purposes. I'll see. It's curious if they win this game.
The one variable here that I'm curious about, I don't actually know what difference this will make, but it's supposed to be really hot in Tennessee this weekend. Like 88, 90.
Because Daniel Jones is coming to town.
Heck yeah.
Indiana
He's bringing
Jones.
the heat.
So that's just something to think about. I don't know if it makes any big difference, but yeah.
Tyler Warren also popped up on the
team.
injury report. Tyler Warren popped up on the injury report with a toe injury, but he's practicing on a limited basis. I know you never want to see toe. I don't like toe. But yeah, he returned to limited practice on Thursday. He didn't practice.
What are
That's
the
a good
other
sign.
toe injuries?
What do you mean?
What do you think? He broke the toe?
Stubbed toe.
I don't think toe. Should we just be out on toe, guys? He's got the mallet toe. I think every guy's got a jam toe.
If he had real turf toe, he wouldn't be practicing though, probably.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, Brock Purdy's practicing, but yeah.
I don't like it.
Hey, I don't like it either. I
don't like it.
It looks like he's going to play, but I don't like it either. I do think on the other side of the ball, you're starting Tony Pollard, who's quietly been good this year. He just needs to get into the end zone. And I think you're still starting Calvin Ridley, who has had a disappointing start, but I think all the underlying metrics are still there. And you're kind of betting on the development of Cam Ward to kind of get that together. And then, yeah, you're starting Tyler Warren, Taylor, Pittman, probably.
Yeah. The Packers, the 2-0 Green Bay Packers have now had like 10 days of rest to play the winless Cleveland Browns. Yeah. Packers are favored by 7.5, which almost feels like not enough. I mean, the Packers look like the best team in the NFL, and then they beat Washington last week. They didn't even have Zach Tom at right tackle. They didn't even have Aaron Banks at left guard, and they're getting those guys back. So I know Jaden Reed's hurt, but like, I kind of think the Packers are going to rock Cleveland.
I'm a little bit worried about Joe Flacco in this game
for his physical well-being.
Yeah. I'm a little worried because he's like the least mobile quarterback probably in the NFL right now, other than Matt Stafford, and his inability to kind of like move around and extend the play when instant pressure happens is worrisome. Because if you watch Micah Parsons, the explosive get off that he gets by the tackle at such a high rate, it's actually insane watching him play. He's so explosive off the snap.
And
I feel like
this is Myles Garrett on the other side. So Micah Parsons, the succession line, it's like sometimes it is a big dick measuring contest. Like sometimes it is just like, I want to prove I'm better than Myles Garrett.
So that's going to be kind of what I'm watching. I'm wondering if they like design a play, like a strategy this week where they just get rid of the ball almost immediately. And it's just going to be a bunch of screen passes, a bunch of dump offs, like try and lean on the run. It's really hard because this Packers defense is stacked right now, and they're literally number one in DVOA so far.
Yeah. Do you think Joe Flacco's having fun?
I actually
it's a good question.
This last two games.
Yeah, this season. Like, is he having fun?
I think
Which quarterback's having the least fun?
I think Joe Flacco. I think Flacco knows like he is fortunate to still be playing at the age that he is, and he has a new outlook on life in terms of in terms of his career. And I do think he's having fun.
Okay,
the quarterback who's having the least amount of fun. That is an awesome question.
Is it Tua?
Right now,
Tua.
I think it's probably Tua because he might get McDaniel fired, and McDaniel got him that contract. I have to say, Caleb Williams is probably very high because they did just lose by like the Lions just scored 51 points of them. That's not fun.
That's not Caleb's fault, but yeah.
Geno Smith's probably not having the best time at this moment.
See, that's the thing. Geno Smith has this level of confidence that is like,
he's like actually
so impenetrable that I don't think it actually can be permeated. Bryce Young's probably not having a ton of fun.
Bryce Young's a good one.
CJ Stroud?
Stroud's not having a good time.
He's not having straight up not having a good time.
I'm straight up not having a good time.
Yo. Honestly, who's like quietly up there?
Mahomes?
Patrick Mahomes. This would be a good power hour. Like a monthly, which quarterback's having the worst time.
Who's having the least fun right now in the NFL?
I think Mahomes, I'll tell you, dude, we'll just skip ahead. The Chiefs are on Monday.
Might be top 3.
The Chiefs are playing the Giants on Monday Night Football. This is why the NFL makes $18 billion a year or whatever, because 2 weeks into the season, Daniel Jones is undefeated and hasn't punted. And Patrick Mahomes is 0-2 heading to the Giants and to play the 0-2 Giants. And if the Chiefs, I'm not going to be like, it's a must win game yet. They're the Chiefs. It's different. But dude, if the Chiefs start 0-3, this is a pretty fucking massive game.
I was shocked that the Chiefs were only favored by 5.5 points against the Giants.
Well, it's because they don't score that much. Like that. The Chiefs
I know. It's just that was wild to just see that on paper. I'm like, wow, 5.5 points. The Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes versus Russell Wilson.
I would groan that this was Sunday Night Football. I hate when people see how bad the Giants are in public. It's so embarrassing.
Do you think Russ is going to keep it going this week, or it just directly into a pumpkin once again?
Not at all. I think that game said way more about the Cowboys defense. I think Russ is going to suck. I don't think it says anything. And Steve Spagnuolo, the Chiefs defensive coordinator, is back in New York. That's fun. Giants fans always love Spagnuolo, but overall, no. Frankly, these teams aren't that good. The Giants, I don't think. I'm not playing Wando Robinson in fantasy this week. I don't think Russell Wilson had some resurgence. I think the Cowboys defense is just ass. The personnel is it's not there. But this Rich Rebar at Sharp Football does amazing previews every week. Had a stat that was so fun, which is 3 teams have not run a single play this season with the lead. Saints have not run a single play with the lead this season. The Panthers have not run a single play with the lead. Wow. And the Kansas City Chiefs.
What the hell?
Have not run one play while winning this season.
That's wild.
So it's funny because look, I think the Chiefs are going to win. You play Mahomes.
They're getting Worthy back, I think.
Yeah, but even then, I personally wouldn't play Xavier Worthy this week. Just the fantasy. Yeah. I don't like when the 2 options are season-ending surgery or give it a go in 12 days.
Yeah, and I'm maybe watch him play 4 quarters. If he can get through 4 quarters.
Again, he did make it 3 plays into the season until he had this injury. So to me, it's I feel like if Worthy does play this week, 1, he's questionable. So it's Sunday Night Football. So if he is ruled out, or they're he's going to try to get 20 snaps, who are your other options to bench him? That's a concern for me. And the other one is I feel like even, let's say he's healthy, he's going to have a brace or whatever in his arm to stabilize him. He's not going to block. He's not going to be super mobile, getting his hands up over his head. He'll probably have a couple design plays for him around the line. And I'm maybe he scores on that a touchdown on that, or maybe he doesn't. But I'm a little concerned about him making it through the game or whatever. And again, it's just what if he's ruled out or he's a decoy and you just don't have another option? Especially since Ravens Lions is Monday Night Football, who are you going to add off waivers? Rashad Bateman? Who is your other option? So I don't love that about Xavier Worthy. Otherwise, I think Kelsey will score a touchdown. But the Giants, and also I don't love playing Tyron Tracy. I think Scatabo, I don't love playing Scatabo this week either, just because I don't think the Giants are going to do that well. But I do think Scatabo is going to overcome Tracy as the number one Giants
Scatabo's
running
good.
back to have.
You can see
awesome.
He's good.
That's been an underdiscussed story this week, I think, just because it's the Giants or whatever. But Scatabo basically is now the starter, or at least based on the usage from this last week, especially in a game that they were going back and forth and trying to win and getting, they came damn close to winning that game. Scatabo got he got the majority of the snaps. He basically was the guy they leaned on in that game. So that's definitely really interesting.
I think that's the hardest. You tell me if you agree. I think what Scatabo, the reps he got, are the hardest thing for a rookie to earn in September, which is 2-minute drill, going to overtime, game is on the line, clock, boom. You have to catch, run, block. That's what Scatabo is on. That to me is the hardest thing for a rookie to get playing time wise.
Yeah, that's that's called the Dylan Lobby role. Something Ashton Genty couldn't earn.
Well, remember when Scatabo said last year, "Is like I'm the best running back in college football." When are we going to talk about whether that was true or not? When are we going to have that conversation?
Not now. Not now.
Okay, fine.
Holster it for now.
Fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything else in Giants Chiefs? We can move on. That's fine.
The Chiefs are just not fun to watch anymore. I no longer want to watch their games.
Yeah.
The Chiefs should not be on primetime games anymore.
We had this conversation on Sunday night when you were gone. Basically, I was just like, man, this game was fucking boring.
You know what should happen? It would be cool if every week on like Tuesday, fans could vote on the primetime games. Like the Tuesday before, everyone votes.
But then it'd always be the same teams.
Would it? The matchups?
I don't think it would.
I don't think it would either. Like, let's say if we had to vote this week, what would be the Sunday night game? We would pick Lions-Ravens, right?
Yeah, and if that was locked in, we'd pick Rams-Eagles.
We'd pick Rams-Eagles. That's correct.
Or Bodie McBoatface. That would be the problem.
Harambe would probably be playing.
Exactly.
Trust the masses with anything.
Yeah, just let people vote. Yeah, I don't know how that's going.
Harambe would be playing.
Harambe versus Bodie McBoatface Sunday Night Football.
Did he die, Harambe? Is he alive?
Yeah, that was like the whole thing.
What, that he died?
Yeah, he got shot. They shot the gorilla because a kid was in the cage. That was like the whole thing.
Oh, they shot and killed Harambe?
Dude, the whole thing was a kid fell in the enclosure, and then they shot Harambe because they were worried about the kid.
Oh, my God.
Wow. All right.
He was dragging the child around for several minutes. Yeah.
So we're okay. You're okay with it, DK?
No, I'm saying, I don't know. If it was my son, yeah, I'd be okay with it. Put yourself in the parent's shoes. I suppose it'd be fine. But a lot of people wanted justice for Harambe. I love that Craig didn't know the Harambe story.
No, I forgot he died. I did forget he died.
Anyway, speaking of people miraculously alive, Tyrod Taylor, after he was almost stabbed.
Nice, really good transition. I got to.
There we go. Thanks. So the Jets, Justin Fields is ruled out. Tyrod Taylor is going to be the quarterback, and again, he was the guy who got. Tyrod Taylor's just whole career is like every time he ever got the shot, something crazy. Not the shot like Harambe, the shot.
He's the original. Got the jab.
Yeah, like he got stabbed for the pregame injection, and then Justin Herbert got to play. He was supposed to be the Browns starter for when Baker Mayfield got picked, and then he got concussed like really quickly in the season, so Baker got to play. So anyway, Tyrod Taylor's playing for the Jets this week, 0-2 against Tampa Bay, the Buccaneers. Todd Bowles was the coach of the Jets, so there's a lot going on here. There are reasons you could think the Jets. I will just start with this. Garrett Wilson is a little fucked up, but I think you're more likely to play Garrett Wilson knowing that Justin Fields is out, right?
I think so, because you
have to be.
I feel like the passing game has a little bit. There's going to be more structure to it with Tyrod Taylor. That being said, I don't know if the floor is high. I don't know if the floor.
I'm just saying for this
for the
specific
overall
week,
offense. For
this specific week, last week Justin Fields completed. Wait, I'm pulling
3 for 11, 27 yards. I will never forget it.
Tyrod Taylor came in and immediately went 7 of 11. And I know the game was over and there's checkdowns and stuff, but I'm like, I actually think in terms of Garrett Wilson footballs caught, I kind of am a little more confident Tyrod Taylor. I'm not saying the Jets are going to move the ball or anything, but I actually think Tyrod Taylor just like completing passes, probably better than Justin Fields.
Potentially, it's hard because week one, Garrett Wilson was so great. And things were really cooking and they had a connection. So if it were 2 bad weeks in a row for Garrett Wilson, I would tend to agree with you, but I don't know. A lot of the times these backup quarterbacks are going to walk in and just be like, okay. And We forget sometimes just how terrible backup quarterbacks are.
Everybody wants the backup quarterback until he starts playing.
Yes.
DK, the Buccaneers are favored by 6.5, which is similar to the line of the Packers being favored over the Browns.
On one hand, I can definitely understand this. The Jets defense has been really bad. Actually, it's 26th in DVOA, 28th against the pass, 19th against the run. They've given up third most yards. Pressure rate, QB knockdown rate, hurry rate are all really poor for the Jets. They're second in most missed tackles in the NFL. So the Jets defense through 2 games has been really bad. So that's good news for the Bucs. The bad news is the Buccaneers just lost another starting offensive lineman, Cody Mock, out for the season. He was the right guard, knee injury. He actually got the knee injury in the game and then played the entire game. And then after the game realized he had a knee injury or whatever. And he's going to miss the rest of the season. Bucs are already missing Tristan Wirfs, their left tackle. They're really, really good left tackle. Luke Goedeke is dealing with a foot injury. He's missed on injured reserve on Wednesday. Oh, they put him on injured reserve?
They put him on injured reserve today.
Man.
So that's their left tackle, their right tackle, and then also Cody Mock, who's like probably their better guard.
Yeah, so their offensive line is devastated right now. They've moved Graham Barton, who was their center, to left tackle. He played left tackle in college, but he's not
very
left tackle.
rarely seen center to left tackle.
Yeah.
Almost never see it.
Yeah. So, and basically, this is one of those nightmare scenarios for an offensive line where you have one guy get hurt and then everyone else has to play a new position. So Graham Barton goes to left tackle. Ben Bredesen goes to center. This other guy, Mike Jordan, who they just, I think, brought in this year, is left guard. So they're like moving everybody around. It's like having these injuries. Everyone's playing a new position now. And so there is a reason I think the Buccaneers run game has not been nearly as good as it was last year. Obviously, also the Liam Cohen leaving thing, I think is a variable. If you look at the Jags, they've gone from one of the worst teams in yards before contact per carry. Craig, you talked about this a bunch this summer. The Jags this year have gone from one of the worst teams in the NFL in yards before contact per carry in the ground game to one of the best. I think they're third right now. Yeah. And the Buccaneers, obviously, their run game just hasn't been going. They actually ran the ball okay in this last game, surprisingly. But I think that is a big variable in this game. Is just like the Buccaneers offensive line is an absolute mess right now. And so that makes me worried a little bit about the passing game as well. I know people who have Mike Evans are kind of desperate right now and sad because he's had a very tough start. But I think if you look at the underlying usage, if you look at just, I think his talent, he's still grading out very well, according to PFF. I think Mike Evans is a prime candidate for positive regression right now. He's averaging 10 points per game, but his expected fantasy points per game, according to Fantasy Points, is 16. So the 6-point difference in fantasy points between expected and reality is the 7th highest in the NFL. The guys who are above him, Marion Hampton, Drake London, Brian Thomas, who we talked about, Chase Brown, Chris Olave, and Xavier Legette, who doesn't really count because he's just bad. But basically all these guys that I just mentioned are getting good usage. They just haven't converted that usage into fantasy points yet. I think Mike Evans will eventually get there. He has 37% of the first read targets in that offense, 20% compared to for Ibuka. So he is the number one guy in that offense. He's going to start scoring touchdowns. I think the only issue with this that I'm not super confident is the offensive line issue.
And I will say, Ibuka got his quad wrapped last week and wasn't the same after. It's different.
He didn't look as fast. He looks like he slowed down after that.
Yeah, it seemed like he pulled it or so. Obviously, if you're getting wrapped on the sideline, like something happened to it. I don't know if that necessarily is going to be an issue a week later, but it's not awesome. But yeah, I mean, in short, one of the reasons the Bucs offensive running game went from the Bucs running game before last year was the worst in the NFL for like 2 years in a row. Like they were last in yards per game, everything. Part of the reason that helps is when you rebuild the offensive line, they already are basically going to have more offensive linemen missing games this season than they did all of last season combined. Yeah. Like we're already there. That just sucks. So I agree. Having said that,
so who do you like though?
You still think they're going to get the shit kicked out of the Jets? Because it's funny to talk about everything we just said with Buccaneers and they're a touchdown favorite.
Ibuka, by the way, did not practice Wednesday nor Thursday.
And Thursday's always a bigger deal than Wednesday. So yeah. How many players could the Bucs be down until we just took the Jets?
Honestly, right? if Baker is starting, I'd probably just take them regardless of who else is on the field.
That's probably accurate. Yeah. Other games here in this early window. Raiders are at the Commanders. Commanders are favored by 3. We don't currently know if Jaden Daniels is going to play this week. He had a knee sprain. It sounds like he wants to play. I think there is obviously like a weird history about like young Washington gifted prodigy quarterbacks playing through knee injuries. And
right.
So I kind of think, I don't know what's going to happen, but my gut is they should probably just bench Jaden Daniels and like don't let him play through the knee sprain. That seems dumb. He's a very special player. Like that's stupid. Play
that's
Marcus
where I'm
Mariota.
leaning too. They had Mariota do the presser. I think Wednesday.
And Mariota's taking the reps. I believe that they said that Jaden Daniels is mentally preparing to play.
Probably doing his VR shit.
Yeah, but Marcus Mariota is physically preparing to play for the team.
Dude,
and the earliest Jaden is going to practice, the earliest he's going to practice is Friday, Dan Quinn said.
Have you ever seen that Family Guy clip where they're like Ringo Starr writes some lyrics? Like he's like, "Hey guys, I wrote a song." And they're like, "Thanks, Ringo. We're going to put it right on the fridge where everyone can see it." And like, that's kind of Jaden Daniels being like, "Hey guys, I'm preparing to start." They're like, "Oh my God, thank God, Jaden. We're so happy. We're going to put it right on the fridge." Put
the goggles back on.
Yeah. They should probably Mariota fucking play. So I mean,
they should not fuck around with this. I feel
if Jaden, in a weird way, I think Debo might be more viable if Mariota plays, just because I feel like Terry's big thing is like deep shots, not entirely, but I think that Terry McLaurin is the best fantasy player he is at times because of the deep ball stuff with Jaden Daniels. Mariota, again, nerve injury years ago. Like I think the stuff around the line of scrimmage with Debo actually might be better. If Jaden plays, obviously you probably have to play Terry McLaurin either way, just because the Raiders defense was bad. This is an interesting game though, because one, it's Dan Quinn is the Washington head coach, and you have Pete Carroll at the Raiders, and like Dan Quinn was the defensive coordinator for all both Legion of Boom teams that made the Super Bowl, right? DK.
I'm trying to remember. It was definitely in that era. When did he?
He's like this.
There was Dan Quinn. There was Gus
2013
Bradley.
and 14. So he was. It's just
that makes sense.
So
he was Dan. He was with the Seahawks 2009 and 2010, and then again in 2013, 2014. So yeah, the two Super Bowl seasons.
So he's, it's just interesting to have a coordinator like versus Pete Carroll. They obviously know each other very well, but it's also weird because the Raiders offense, Geno Smith looked horrible from the first snap, really, against the Chargers. Like
that was probably his worst game since he's resurrected his career.
I kind of want to flush it a little bit.
I hope he does. Yeah.
I don't know. Both these teams, I kind of think the Raiders offense, it's weird that Bowers is a little banged up, but overall, I don't know. I think Washington's run D is weirdly solid. Obviously, Craig, you keep saying the thing about Ashton Genty's yards before contact being horrible. 30 feet less than Derrick Henry.
Yes.
Negative.
Yes. He's getting touched before he reaches the line of scrimmage on average every rush.
Washington's defense actually is contacting running backs pretty solid, deeply into the backfield. That's part of how Dan Quinn plays defense. But the passing game, I don't know. I kind of think Geno's going to have a better game. But overall, I think you have to play Genty. You have to play Bowers still. You probably play Myers. And you play McLaurin, and I still think you play the guys from this game, but I don't know. I think there actually could be a weird amount of offense for two weird teams, honestly.
Yeah, I do. I think that they're going to bounce. I think the Raiders will bounce back in this game. Man, because so that Monday night game, obviously, the Geno fell apart versus that Chargers defense. I just want to point out that the Chargers defense is like making people's lives hell so far. They're number 4 in DVOA right now after 2 weeks. Jesse Minter looks like he's on track to be a head coach at some point in time. I just want to point out
from the same school of like Mike McDonald, where there's this like, for lack of a better term, Harbaugh school of defense. That's like a fusion of like Ravens with a lot of college stuff. But that's like Mike McDonald, who's the head coach of the Seahawks, kind of got the head coaching job by the stuff he was doing in Baltimore.
Right.
But Mike McDonald fused a lot of old Baltimore stuff with stuff at Michigan. Jesse Minter like was also there. Jesse Minter's like right there and doing a lot of the same stuff between the Harbaughs. And so Chargers
I think
are doing very modern stuff on defense.
That context, I think, for what the Raiders did last week, I think they'll probably bounce back a little bit this week. Hopefully, like you mentioned, Geno is very confident. He's going to stick with it and keep throwing the ball downfield. Hopefully, Bowers is a little more healthy. Genty, Craig, you were so right about the vibes with Genty. I saw some replays after we talked about that, and I was just like, whoa. Yeah, he is just kind of like wandering about on the field, and that kind of effort was like there was a play that you had mentioned where I think it was a broken play, and then Geno's scrambling around trying to get away from the pass rush, and Genty's just kind of like standing there, not doing anything.
Lackadaisically,
it was like
around.
bizarre.
Yeah.
So The Genty question will be really interesting in this game. Are they going to give him the 2-minute drill again, or is he basically out on that? Was this because of the effort issues in that last game?
He is already alluding to the fact that he's not getting enough touches, which is not a good sign for a guy who's played 2 games in the NFL.
Right. So I think that whole thing is going to be very fascinating. I think you still play him. I think Genty will bounce back. I think overall this offense will bounce back a little bit in this game. But if they don't, then I'm going to start kind of like panicking a little bit. Jacoby Myers, by the way, has been awesome. He's a must start every week. Yeah. But yeah, I do think I kind of like the Raiders bouncing back in this game.
Yeah, I think Myers, especially until we see Bowers, is Bowers again. You should play Myers. The last thing I'll say, we didn't mention Austin Eckler tore his Achilles, and he's out. So Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt as the running back for Washington. We'll see if he ends up getting goal line stuff. There's other guys in the Washington backfield. I don't think it's worth picking up.
And honestly, Debo is going to get more carries probably.
I agree. That's why I kind of think Debo. Yeah, I think Debo's going to have a larger role going forward. But Krosky-Merritt's probably the worst running back you can play and feel solid about. I don't think
it's funny. I feel like a lot of people think Debo was a sell high because he had a touchdown in week 1 and people didn't necessarily know how much he'd be incorporated into the offense and blah blah blah. I kind of think Debo's not a sell high. I kind of think Debo's a hold, and that he's, as long as he's healthy, he's going to be a part of this offense significantly.
Yeah. Craig, I'm with you because he gets manufactured touches in this offense. Yeah.
I agree. I think that Debo's one of those players. I don't think his usage will ever properly be captured by usage models, I guess is the way I'd say it. But yeah, the last game in the 1 o'clock, their early window is Falcons are at the Panthers. You laughing because I said 1 o'clock?
I just like that we have to correct each other now all the time, correct ourselves.
Well, it's because it's confusing. People don't live in the same time zone.
That's fine. We don't need to do it again.
Did you say the 1 o'clock window? Isn't that equally as confusing for some people?
I said 1. I corrected myself to early window.
Okay. Don't you ever do it again.
We don't have to go down this road again. Heifetz, what are you saying about the Falcons and Panthers?
Maybe this is the Costanza and the Panthers win this game because everything about me, the Falcons are favored by 5.5. And I'm like, why aren't the Falcons going to kick the shit out of Carolina?
Well, that's a good question. Yeah. Division games are always weird, first of all.
Division games are always weird. The Falcons haven't kicked the shit out of anybody so far. And I guess the Panthers offensive line is super banged up. The Falcons kind of have a pass rush right now, but I don't know. Backdoor Bryce Young is what Bill and Sal are calling him. And there still is a little bit of like,
that's a rough
I would say
nickname.
For half of the game, the Panthers look like they're a decent offense, but it's always the second half of the game. They always kind of come out of the gate horribly. I don't know. This spread feels right, but this does feel like a game. If anything, this will be a rainbow strip type game, I think, and maybe both these teams could actually put up some points.
It depends. James Pierce is not practicing to start the week. He had a groin injury. This might just be management.
Yeah.
Management. He had that last week apparently, and then kind of worked his way through and still played. So we'll see about that. But that was one thing I just kind of circled is if their pass rush goes back to normal, that could be a variable here. But yeah,
we just need to fully see it from Atlanta. Like they've played 2 solid games. They're 1-1. But I feel like we haven't actually seen the offense fully click. They lost a close game to the Bucs, and they beat the Vikings in that weird Sunday night game where like nobody really looked that good. Penix threw for 135 yards, but they won by 2 scores. But the offense has never fully clicked, and it's honestly Bijan Robinson is doing a lot of work. Drake London hasn't really had a great start to the year. The only person who's honestly cooking the most is our guy Kyle Pitts. It's granted. Look, it's week 2. But I do think our guy Kyle Pitts, that this is quietly happening, and that
it's happening,
dude. If you look at his rankings among all tight ends, again, 2 weeks into the season, he's 4th in route percentage, he's 7th in target rate, he's tied for the 5th most targets amongst tight ends. And if you look at his past 4 years, he has career highs across the board. Target share, snap rate, the amount of routes he's running, it's all career highs. And the second best year was his rookie year when he had 1,000 yards. After that, he got hurt. Everything's been a disaster. This year, he's outperforming his rookie season in basically every metric, except touchdowns, but it's early, obviously. So I don't know.
I agree.
That's interesting.
I think Pitts this is clearly the best quarterback situation he's had since the first half when Kirk was healthy last year. And other than that, it's a Terry McLaurin-esque list for Kyle Pitts. And I agree. I don't think Kyle Pitts will ever be as good as we thought he would be coming out of the draft, but he's certainly better than he's been the last couple of years. And like, that's not a controversial take, but halfway between the player thought he'd be and the player he's been, it's like a pretty good tight end. So with that said,
he's a startable tight end in fantasy right now. Like you should start him. With
that said, I want to do 2 players starting for Carolina on the offensive line this week and 1 guy playing Coachella.
Ooh, okay.
Juice Klein, Cade Mays, Chandler Zavala.
Chandler Zavala feels like a player.
Yeah, I know him.
Cade? What was it?
Cade Mays.
Cade Mays. That feels like an artist.
I think Juice is the fake one.
What do you think, Craig?
How do you spell juice?
Joost.
Juiced.
Yeah.
Is that him?
Yeah, it's Juiced. Yeah, it's Juiced, the artist.
Did you make up his last name?
No, I looked it up. Juiced Klein is Juiced. Juiced is his name. He's Dutch.
Oh, his name is Juiced. Oh, he's Dutch.
Yeah, he's Dutch. Yeah, he's Dutch.
Juiced. His name is Juiced. Wow, he kind of looks like a Juiced. Pull him up.
Anyway, yeah, the Panthers are starting Cade Mays and Chandler Zavala, and I kind of want to get in on that. That's all.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Ted McMillan also good.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get to
He looks the part.
Let's get to the late window here. But first, this episode is brought to you by NFL Sunday Ticket on YouTube TV. You can watch every game every Sunday all in one place, so you don't miss a key moment on the field with NFL Sunday Ticket and YouTube TV. And now you can get it monthly. Get NFL Sunday Ticket month to month and cancel any time. Head to youtube.com/Ringer Fantasy to sign up. Local and national games on YouTube TV. NFL Sunday Ticket for out-of-market games. Excludes digital-only games. Base plan required. Renews every month during the 2025 regular season only. Your membership for the following month can be canceled any time before your renewal date. Terms, restrictions, and embargoes apply. Commercial use excluded. Okay, I want to get to this afternoon window here. There's one game I think the NFL thought it would be a bigger deal, but then the Bears have kind of suck. But the Cowboys are at Chicago this week. Bears are 0-2. I gotta start here. Why are the Bears favored? Am I crazy?
I had that exact question.
Bears are favored to win this game by 1.5. I'm shocked by that.
Great.
I think
why
I'm shocked.
Is that?
I'm doing the Windhorse fingers, but yeah, Dallas's defense is terrible. They just saw Russell Wilson throw for 450 yards against them. This game is in Chicago.
Chicago's defense might be terrible too, by the way.
Yeah, they just let up 52 points to the Lions.
That's the thing. Jalen Johnson.
We thought they were good in week 1, but no, they're not.
The Bears' best cornerback, Jalen Johnson's out for the season. TJ Edwards, their linebacker, aggravated a hamstring injury. Like the Bears weren't playing well and are down most of their best players. The other dynamic, there's so much going on here, but the dynamic I don't think this has been talked about a ton, but Matt Eberflus is the defensive coordinator for the Cowboys. He was the Bears coach last year. Yeah. He's the one who got fired after the Thanksgiving debacle. Like this is quietly I think this will be a under the radar, chippy, emotional game. Like this is the Cowboys defenders, which again, it's mostly effort, are playing for Eberflus, who again, there was just this giant hit piece on Caleb Williams from all these bitter Bears coaches that were fired mostly after, or Eberflus was fired after the Thanksgiving game. That story that people don't know what to make of from Tyler Dunn at his Go Long Substack, where people don't know what to make of 30 people anonymously shredding a second-year quarterback. But one of the things was that it was kind of Caleb's fault for the Thanksgiving debacle and all these things. But 4 coaches from Eberflus's Bears staff work for him on the Cowboys now. So there are, I believe, 5 coaches from that Bears staff on this Cowboys staff. And then the flip side is Caleb Williams out here. And like all these Bears staffers threw him under the bus. And like, I don't know. I think it's a weirdly under the radar emotional
this is
game.
Fun.
But it's also just, I don't know if that matters to anyone. I also think the Cowboys are absolutely the fantasy football rainbow strip. We always joke about Mario Kart, the little rainbow strip
Bengals.
you hit. You go fast. I think the Cowboys replaced the Bengals. No Joe Burrow. It's the rainbow strip where you hit it and you go faster. The Cowboys are the perfect storm of just the incredible passing offense. And the defense is ass. Like they have no pass rush. They have no cornerbacks. Trevon Diggs and Deron Bland. I don't know if they practiced today, but I don't know if they're going to play this week. And the Cowboys are a perfect storm to just be in a shootout every single week. So you got to play everyone in fantasy.
Who do you think is hungrier for revenge, Caleb or Eberflus? Because Caleb got thrown under the bus by this article, the Tyler Dunn piece. But Eberflus basically got fired because of Caleb and got dragged through the mud for like an entire offseason about how he ruined Caleb and that Caleb's this premier talent that was completely ruined by this coaching staff. Who has more to prove? Who's angrier?
Eberflus is angrier. Caleb,
I think so too.
Eberflus
He's more
is
angry, but Caleb is more high profile.
Yeah, but I think Eberflus is angrier. This is a game where Caleb needs to throw for 330 yards. He has to.
And so I think you have to play everyone in this game. So the Cowboys, it's obvious. CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, Jake Ferguson had a great game last week. Javonte Williams quietly, number 3 running back in fantasy football right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I also think
not that fluky either.
No, I think Javonte might there's a chance that I don't want to say league winner, things can happen, but there's a chance that we kind of thought he'd be another Rico Dowdle of just a weird player that just happens to be the Cowboys starting running back and just ekes out an ugly 1,000 yards, doesn't really help your team. Javonte looks back. Like he had the 19 points in week 1, I think. He was better last week. But more importantly, I kind of think Javonte is way closer to being as explosive as he was his rookie year than I think we thought he would get back to. And he hurdled Tyler Nubin as the safety on the Giants. Like I'm not saying he looks all the way back, but he doesn't look like dust like we kind of thought he would in some of those Denver years after. I've been surprised, and it's too bad he's on Dallas, otherwise I'd be excited about it. But like, I kind of think Javonte is just going to own he might be like the Kirkland brand Chase Brown of what we thought Chase Brown would be for Cincinnati.
Javonte Williams is 6 months older than RJ Herby.
Oh my God. That's
Think
weird.
about that.
Yeah.
25. There you
go. I saw a really interesting stat the other day. Hold on, I gotta pull it up. Yards before contact per rush. Teams. The Chicago Bears are 4th in the NFL in yards before contact per carry on rushing plays. And DeAndre Swift cannot run the football. Like, he's been gifted some of the best blocking in the NFL. And I think their success rate is one of the worst in the NFL running the football. Hold on, let me see. The rushing success rate.
Does that include quarterback carries, though? Does that include like Caleb scrambling?
I don't think Swift has been terrible. I don't know. At least
I think their success rate as a rushing team is 29th. So I don't know. Maybe like the eye test tells you something different. He's had a couple good plays, and I think he's had some really bad plays.
I think, I don't know. In terms of fantasy, I think Swift, I don't think he's losing time to Roshan or Kyle Monunga. I
he
think
has
Swift
a quad injury now, so we'll see. But yeah.
I don't know. In terms of fantasy, I would not bench Swift. I think you have to play Roma Dunze last week smashed, but also part of that's, I think, dominating versus the Lions. Lions play a lot more man. The Cowboys play the least man coverage in the league. So if this wasn't such a shootout, you could talk about benching Roma Dunze, but I'm like, you have to play a Dunze after last week. But I actually think DJ Moore will be but I actually think DJ Moore will probably have a better game just because of the way the Cowboys play zone. I think DJ Moore, if you're a little disappointed or Dunze's been outshining DJ Moore, you have to play Moore. You have to play Swift. I actually think you should play Caleb. Honestly, I still don't think you play the Bears tight ends. Like Colson Loveland, if you took him high this morning, I don't think you can play. Rookie tight ends, it's like if you take Tyler Warren and he's good immediately, that's sick. But I also do not think you can play a rookie tight end until they've done something, even if they're on snaps. Like you kind of have to wait for Colson Loveland to show a sign of life. In theory, I wouldn't take a swing on him
running off routes. Yeah.
No, and so, but overall, I think this is going to be a shootout, and it's going to be interesting. But overall, I'm taking the Cowboys too. I think I want them in Ringer 107. Like at the end of the day, there's success. It's 2-week sample. It is what it is. But success rate is just how often you're getting enough yards in a given play. 1st and 10, did you get 5 yards? 3rd down, did you get it? Yes or no? If you just look at three.
I was going to say, who do you trust more, Dak or Caleb
so the Cowboys are 2nd in the NFL in success rate, and the Bears are 2nd to last in the NFL in success rate. But both defenses are bad. But like, do you trust Dak to take advantage of the Bears defense more, or Caleb with
Thank you. I just sneezed again. Thank you.
Bless you, Craig. I got it. I'm out on saying bless you for sneezes. I think it's ridiculous, and I think we should end the
Seinfeld bit here.
I don't like that you have to say bless you for a sneeze.
All right.
Oh, no one wants to address that.
I don't care.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I don't care. I have a question, or I want to bring something up because I think it's like boiling up and could reach a point where something actually happens here. But this is, I think, maybe the way that Bears fans and people just across the league were interpreting this. I don't know if DJ Moore was called out in particular or specifically, but there were a bunch more quotes this week from Ben Johnson talking about effort away from the football, effort on plays, and how we're going to start benching players that aren't putting in full effort. He doesn't like the effort being put on the field or whatever. And this was something that was talked about a lot during the offseason, remember? Like, and everyone was interpreting this to mean DJ Moore, who very famously walked off the field during a play last year. And so DJ Moore not getting nearly as many targets as he was last year. Rome Odunze clearly has eclipsed him as the team's go-to guy and number one player. Maybe that will change. We'll see. But I'm wondering like how close DJ Moore is to just completely fucking like blowing up on the coaching staff or Caleb or both and getting traded. Like I'm going to be closely watching him in particular in this game and in the next few games. Just want to bring that up.
That's a good call. DJ Moore, where could he go? Kansas City? Whew.
Ooh, yeah. Where would he go? That would be the best.
I mean, every receiver is just go to the Chiefs.
Texans, maybe they need somebody.
I like that. We should actually build a super team of Chiefs receivers like Tyreek Hill, DJ Moore, and then just like the Chiefs still couldn't score 20 points a game. It'd be really funny. How many great receivers could we add until they're bad? Titans kind of makes sense. Okay, next game here. So the Broncos play everyone from Cowboys-Bears, including DJ Moore. Broncos are at the Chargers this week, and the Chargers are 2-0. Justin Herbert.
Man. This is a great game. If we were doing the voting, I actually think I would vote for this to be Sunday Night Football over Eagles-Rams. But anyway, fascinating game. I had two of the most kind of exciting new good teams in the league battle for the AFC West lead. I mean, if the Chiefs somehow lost to the fucking Giants and the Chargers win, the Chiefs would be 0-3. The Chargers would be 3-0, just like the whole Texans-Colts thing. This is a very interesting week. The last time the Chargers played Denver, they won by 7, 34-27. It was kind of a shootout. Denver's D has not been as advertised so far, and the Chargers D has been incredible. They're second lowest in yards per attempt. They're giving up the lowest touchdown rate. They were awesome against Mahomes and Geno. They just look awesome, to be honest. Like, the Packers are the story of the NFL right now, but I think the Chargers should be right there with them. And I think the Packers are taking up all of the attention because of Micah Parsons and all that. Deservingly so. They beat the Lions and all that stuff. But I mean, the Chargers coming in on that Friday in Brazil and winning that game, I also feel like kind of was buried because it was in between the league kickoff was Sunday night. Yeah. And so I just think the Chargers are like, it's tough. The AFC's hard. They're, you probably still have to slot them behind Buffalo and Baltimore. But man, Herbert looks fantastic. He would have had a way bigger game had the Raiders played decent at all on Monday night. And everything's cooking. They can't really run the ball yet. And Omarion Hampton has not looked great, but they're awesome. And then on the other side of the ball, Bo Nix has had a slow start. The offense has had a slow start. They were not good against Tennessee. They were better last week, but Bo Nix is kind of all over the place still. I do think, though, for fantasy, there is a couple interesting things happening in Denver where Cortland Sutton, I think you're still starting him. J.K. Dobbins is like a worthy player right now. He's kind of the classic. You trade him halfway through the season because R.J. Harvey probably is going to come and steal that job. But on the passing side, Troy Franklin, the receiver out of Oregon, year 2, Bo Nix's buddy. Everyone thought Evan Ingram was the Joker, DK. But that's what the Joker does. He doesn't reveal himself. Kaiser Soze, it's actually Troy Franklin. It's not Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram's been banged up. He hasn't played that much. But Troy Franklin last week, 85% of the snaps, more than any wide receiver, which is the highest rate for a non-Cortland Sutton Denver wide receiver since the start of last season. Troy Franklin. So Matt Harmon at reception perception, I trust him very much to analyze wide receivers and what they're doing. Kind of wasn't that into Troy Franklin coming into the draft, but has admitted that they're using him very well and he's playing very well. And so I kind of think Troy Franklin, Marvin Mims doesn't seem to be happening. Evan Ingram is banged up and not playing a lot. They got rid of Devon Vele. He's on the Saints now. I'm kind of believing Troy Franklin a little bit, to be honest. TK, what do you think?
I mean, yeah, he has all the signs and markers of a breakout receiver. He's a guy that actually went quite a bit lower in the draft than I thought he would. I believe he was a 4th rounder. I thought he'd be like a 2nd rounder. He was productive in college, explosive down the field. He is a thin type of player, but there's a lot of those guys that have gone high in the past. I mean, Xavier Worthy, the list goes on. There's Devontae Smith. A lot of these guys are kind of in that 6 foot, 6'2", 190, 180 pound kind of like range.
That's me, type which guys. Is kind of terrifying to think of me out there.
Think about you getting hit on a pass over the middle.
I think Troy Franklin is 6'2", like 185, which is literally me, which is just terrifying to think about. Like, how is that possible?
I think the other thing that is notable here is he was teammates with Bo Nix in college. So they have that built-in chemistry, which you love to see. I'm still shocked that they're rotating freaking Cortland Sutton in. Maybe there's some deal there with like an injury or something.
I don't think they're really rotating Cortland Sutton in. I don't think that's like
no, they did. They actually.
I know,
did.
but I don't.
He
think
had his lowest snap rate in like a year.
But I don't think that will happen consistently. I think that's related more to how the Colts will play defense and just
Sean Payton. You just never know with that guy. But I thought that was wild. But overall, yes, all the signs point to Troy Franklin being.
They're using him a lot. Like they're actually moving him all over the field in the quote unquote Joker way. Like he's in the slot. They're moving him outside. They're throwing him screen passes. They're actually trying to get the ball in his hands because he's very fast. And just something to keep an eye on. I added him. I spent $10 on him in my league. So there you go.
So you're invested. I love it.
I'm invested financially in the Broncos now.
I agree, though. This is a very fascinating game. It's going to be fun, a lot of fun. Do you like the Broncos? Or sorry, do you like the Chargers in this then?
I like the Chargers in every game. I just think the Chargers are awesome.
Yeah.
I think defensively they're flying around. I think Herbert looks better than ever, healthy. He's running. Keenan Allen looks great. Ladd.
They haven't even needed to use Ladd that much yet.
No, he's been like their third guy, basically. I think this team, I think the offensive line's played pretty well despite losing Rashawn Slater. Chargers are awesome, and I would love to see them be great this year. I think when Herbert's good, and Herbert and Harbaugh being great is like so good for the NFL. His quotes after every game are the best. Harbaugh being like a 2 seed in the playoffs is best case scenario for the NFL.
Yeah.
Saints are at the Seahawks this week. Saints are winless. Seahawks 1-1. 7.5 point favorites. Yeah, I mean, I think these are. I will say though, I think the Seahawks are way more talented in most areas, but I do think Spencer Rattler is intriguing. I'm intrigued by Spencer Rattler, how he's playing.
In real life or in fantasy?
Kind of both. Real life, I think the NFL arm talent, I kind of think Rattler has, frankly, like, because his whole thing is he's kind of smaller, and frankly, fell like to the 5th round. The rare guy who falls to the 5th round because of attitude and size and not like whether he can make NFL throws, there's like no question. But I mean, I think for fantasy purposes, I actually think, I mean, we're talking about Juwan Johnson is kind of a must start going forward for the time being. You kind of have to play Juwan Johnson if you added him. And then I think Chris Olave is going to play better. I think if you just look at underlying metrics, like Chris Olave is going to come up in the big game soon. And if he hasn't done anything for you, I think you can play him. And I think this week is a little scarier, but like overall, I do think Olave better days are coming. But I also kind of think Rattler might just stick around as an NFL player. I don't know if he's going to be some long-term awesome starter, but I think he's going to stick around as a guy.
I would say that the numbers so far have been surprisingly good, especially considering they haven't led yet this year, which is a stat that you just threw out. I
do hate winning for 0 seconds of a season. That's
not great. But I do think Rattler is so far perfectly fitting into that game manager type of role. We didn't expect him to be a star. I don't think he's going to be a star, but he is so far been very good in terms of that game manager style. So far, he has he's averaged 210 passing yards per game, 3 touchdowns, no picks. He has a very low sack rate, just 4.8%, which is 11th best in the NFL right now. Pressure to sack rate's pretty good, 15% only, 14th best in the NFL. 7% off target rate, so he's been accurate, 7th best in the NFL. His success rate, 49%, is 8th in the NFL. So he is like moving the chains, getting the yards that are there for him, kind of managing the offense really. And his pass rating is 91, which is 18th. He's like right in the middle of the field with everybody, which I wouldn't have expected at all. Would have expected this offense was awful. So yeah, overall, like he's exceeded my expectations so far. And I think he fits perfectly into that game manager type role. Could he be replaced down the line? Sure. But right now, I think he gives the Saints kind of that plucky vibe. Like they could compete with guys. They're probably not going to win a ton of games. They're 21st on offense in DVOA so far this year. So I think that's kind of like right where you'd expect a guy like Rattler to be.
And having said that, the Seahawks, I'm going to take them seriously, I feel like should really rock New Orleans.
It feels like a trap.
Home, yeah.
It feels like a trap game for me because the Seahawks just had this emotional win against the Steelers on the road, and then they're coming back home and playing a bad team. And I'm like a little nervous, but maybe this Seahawks team isn't going to fall for that.
I don't think you can have a trap game if it's you're 1-1. Like you blew week 1. You know what I mean?
Right. That's fair.
I
will say, go ahead.
Can I ask you I guess a backwards looking fart or shart about a Seahawks player?
Sure.
Cooper Kupp who nobody knew kind of what to think of him this year. I think most people are out on him. Week 1, he came in, he had 2 catches for 15 yards, 3 targets, and everyone was like, okay, this is Cooper Kupp. Next week, 9 targets, 7 catches, 90 yards. Kind of looked good and was all over the field and made a lot of big clutch catches.
Yeah.
Was week 1 a shart or a fart? Like, what's real with Cooper Kupp?
It was a fart. I think you have to, the context is important here because in week 1, it was like everything went to JSN. It was like he had like a 70% target rate or something ridiculous. It was the number 1 target rate in the NFL that week. And I think it was clear then, and it's clear now that wasn't going to hold up all year long. No one's going to do that for a full season, let alone more than 1 game. And so I think we saw the regression back to the middle more, where you're still going to use Jason a lot. He was still the number 1 guy, and he has a 51% first read target share this year, which I think is tops among all players. But Cooper Kupp is catching up now, and he was a much bigger part of the game plan. He did a lot better in this last game. It was great to see because they do need a number 2 right now. Torrey Horton, the rookie, he's coming on and he had a touchdown this last game, but he's still really inexperienced. You can't expect much from him. And he's not a huge part of their offense right now. So right now it's JSN, Cooper Kupp. And I think I'm feeling a lot better about Cooper Kupp's role in this offense going forward than I did after week 1. Because he dropped a really important 3rd down in that game too. And so I was just really frustrated, I think, with him that in that one game. But over the last, in that last game, he looked a lot better. And I'm starting to feel a lot better about this. Also, the Seahawks offense did complete like 180 from what they did in week 1 in terms of using play action a ton. They ran the ball a lot better, at least with Kenneth Walker. And so, I'm feeling a lot better about the Seahawks offense in general than I did in week 1. It was just like a weird game.
Like, it is interesting if you just threw out week 1 and just treated it like preseason and only looked at week 2 to then project your thoughts going forward. It's interesting, like how different you would feel about certain players, like Cooper Kupp.
Right.
If you just throw out week 1 and Cooper Kupp has 7 for 90 in week 2, and that's the first game you're thinking of, because the week 1 thing is the only thing holding me back.
Yep.
But
Derrick Henry, 12 yards in week 2, just cut him.
Totally.
That's true.
Sam Darnold, I was actually shocked to see this, is the 3rd highest graded quarterback in the NFL according to PFF so far. He has just 1 turnover worthy play. Which I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. Like I would not say he's been the 3rd best quarterback in the league, but
no, it's Lamar,
I think
Josh,
what it says,
and Sam Darnold.
I think what it kind of says is he's running the offense the way that the Seahawks design it to run for the most part. He's not making really bad throws. He's not, going off and doing crazy stuff. So I don't know. That is just a stat that I ran across this week. And I was like, whoa, that's kind of crazy. And I think he's the type of quarterback that if they can get the run game going and do play action and things like that, and it's not just all on his shoulders to drop back on 3rd down and make plays, he'll be pretty good for the Seahawks offense this year. Kind of like in that Aaron Rodgers mold, actually, like watching those 2 guys play, like as long as they're not having to do everything, they can execute the offense pretty well. I think they're kind of in the same mold.
Is that an insult to Rodgers or Darnold? I can't tell.
Well, Rodgers is like 43 years old or whatever, so
41.
More insulting probably to Darnold.
Cardinals are at the 49ers this week. Both teams are 2-0.
Mm-hmm.
Craig, is Brock Purdy playing or what?
Let me call him. Hold on.
Cool.
He didn't answer.
Oh.
I had him in my ear here. He wasn't.
Yeah.
He is practicing, but he's kind of moving around pretty gingerly out there. It's completely impossible to say. Mac Jones played well enough. I kind of think Purdy won't play, but he is practicing at least a little bit out there. This is a weird game for the Niners. My dad's a diehard Niners fan, hates playing the Cardinals. It's always a close game. Shanahan has a losing record only against the Cardinals out of every NFC West team. He's 7-9 against the Cardinals.
That's bizarre.
It is bizarre. These games are always close. They're always ugly. The Niners always underperform.
This is how the Seahawks are with the Rams.
Well, it's like both these teams are 2-0, but you don't know if either team is really good because the Niners won a weird game against the Seahawks in week 1, and they beat the Saints. The Cardinals also beat the Saints and then beat the Panthers, but they almost like blew a 20-point lead. Was it 27-3? And they almost blew that. So it's a weird situation. The one thing that the Cardinals used to be great at that they're really struggling with this year is running the ball. James Conner and the running game used to be very, very good the last 2 seasons. But their offensive line coach, Clayton Adams, has left, and he's now in Dallas, and he's the offensive coordinator in Dallas. So I think there's a direct correlation there between why Javonte Williams and this Dallas running game is working, and why James Conner and Trey Benson in the Cardinals rushing game is not.
That's interesting.
So I don't know. I would probably like the Niners in this game. I believe in the Niners more than I do the Cardinals. I know a lot of people are in on the Cardinals. I still don't trust like pretty much anybody on that team.
I mean, they played the Saints and the Panthers.
No,
Cardinals are also pretty banged up. Like they have 2 cornerbacks who are hurt. Like I kind of like the Niners to win this game, even with Mac Jones.
Yeah, I think so too. I know fantasy. It's like Marvin Harrison still on his same bullshit where you have no idea what he's going to do. People are, Trey
McBride's still not scoring touchdowns.
No, it's like, Marvin Harrison's running better routes this year. He's running the routes that are, he's more open now. He's running these in-breaking routes. They're not giving him the shitty, like, sacrificial X routes, whatever. I don't know, man. I'm kind of happy I didn't draft Marvin Harrison. I don't have to, like, worry about that. That's kind of how I feel.
Yeah.
That's how DK feels not taking Mark Andrews at any point. It's like, glad I don't have to deal with this.
Yeah, it's
like,
I know.
I actually have, it's so nice. I feel so light. It's just like a weight off of my shoulders, not having to worry if he does anything. Other than I do have Lamar Jackson on team, so it'd be nice if he would catch those touchdowns.
Yeah, but now I can just like watch Marvin Harrison Jr. from afar, from a distance, and be like, I hope he catches it. And if he doesn't, oh well.
I might go make a sandwich.
Yeah. I'm going to go take a dip in the pool. Who cares? He dropped it. Big deal.
If you want more, our fantasy football week 3 rankings are at fantasyfootball.themirror.com. We'll also update those on Sunday mornings, so you can check out if you have specific start-sit questions. Anything not answered today, fantasyfootball.themirror.com. Also, next one of these Friday shows will be in Dublin, so go follow us on Instagram. Subscribe us on YouTube. We're going to put up random stuff there while we're in Dublin.
Craig's going to be splitting the G so hard.
I almost think I'm pitching this right now. I just thought about this right now. Our Sunday show, we're going to be recording. It's going to be very odd because we're going to be recording like late at night on Sunday night, but that's like the games in Ireland time are like in the middle of the night. I think we should do, because we're not going to be doing a Monday night show. We're not going to be doing our waiver show because we're all going to be flying home from Ireland. It's a long travel day. So we're going to add waivers to the Sunday night show. I think instead of trivia, we should have to split the G, and whoever gets the closest gets first pick. Second pick.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
How do we feel about
that? I like that.
It's just 3 beers each. That's
so we got
right.
We got to record
it doing that, right?
We got to find a bar. We got to find a bar to record in, I think. Then.
Oh, that's fair. Oh, it's late. You're right. We won't be able to get it on tap. Okay, well, we'll figure that out.
Yeah,
we'll be splitting the G in some way.
We have the technology. I think we can figure it out.
Yeah, it can't be canned though. I don't know.
Okay, well then maybe we don't have the technology. Then. You want to get
if that's what you're referring to, I don't know.
All right, let's get to the Ringer 107. Today's Ringer 107 is brought to you by FanDuel again. So we're competing against all the other Ringer football pods, and we're just
tied for first. No big deal.
Tied for first. No big deal. So we're just picking 5 games against the spread each week.
Don't act like you're not impressed.
Everyone else. I want Cowboys getting points versus the Bears. I want to bet against Caleb Williams for money. And I also kind of want the Texans getting points.
I like the Texans. I like the Rams plus 3.5 against the Eagles. I don't know if y'all agree with me on that.
I don't feel great about that, but I'm willing to, if you feel strongly.
I definitely love the Texans. The Bears, for some reason, I think Caleb's going to be great and the Bears are going to win. But
but you also think Dak Prescott's the MVP, and you don't think Dak Prescott can beat the Chicago Bears.
I thought he should have been the MVP in 2023, and then he tore his hamstring off the bone.
Scored 40 points last week
against the Giants.
What do you think about What do you think about the Chargers versus the Broncos?
I don't know. Those are just like 2 really good teams. It's in Denver.
Yeah.
Chargers.
No, it's in LA. It's in LA.
Oh, it's in LA.
So it's kind of just bunch of Broncos fans.
So it's in a neutral
home
stadium
game for Denver anyway.
Heifetz, should we just take the Chiefs to beat the Giants by 6?
I mean, probably, but the problem with that is just like the Giants can so easily, kick some field goal at the end of the game. It's like the backdoor covers right there. But the problem is, frankly, are the Chiefs going to score 30 points? When was the last time the Chiefs even scored 30 points? You know what I mean?
Doesn't it kind of feel like this is the week the Chiefs get a little bit right because it's so much scrutiny and
they better. They'll be 0-3 if they lose.
I know
game.
their backs against the wall. That's what I'm saying.
Chiefs minus 5.5. It's just so many points to lay for a team that doesn't score points, and we famously can't move the ball. But it would be kind of funny for to just take
but it's
the Chiefs.
The Giants
who just scored 37 points a week ago. I'm just saying. I know the Cowboys defense sucks.
Hold on here. I'm cooking up something good over here. Hold on.
So, should we also just take the Colts?
I have them down as well. I can't do that. Never mind.
Packers
Colts?
are also giving 7.5 to the Browns. Should we just do that?
Yeah.
Why don't we just take the Packers just lay 7.5? That should be a 10 or 11 point line. If that was in 2 or 3 weeks, it would be 10. That would be 10 or 11.
I will
points.
say, note here, while we were talking, Tucker Kraft suffered a knee injury at practice today.
Stop.
Oh my God.
It sounds like it's not season ending, but it could affect his availability for this game.
It sounds like it's not season ending is the worst thing ever you could have said. That the fact that it's that serious that they're even considering that.
They said it's not considered season ending. I don't know what that means.
It's bad that came up.
Packers
I
have
agree.
reason to believe it's not a season ending type injury.
Oh no.
Reason to believe it's not season ending means they could have been like, he might play this week.
Like he's out a month.
And they didn't say that. They said reason to believe it's not season ending. That's terrifying.
My
That
day's
sucks.
ruined.
That's not great.
Just guess we're not taking Packers minus 7.5.
Is he worth that much? I guess maybe.
Part of me is like, just fucking take the Packers anyway.
All these games suck. You want to take the Colts? Let's just keep betting on the Colts until they screw us. Minus 4.5 versus the Titans.
Sure, fuck it.
Okay.
So we have the
It's a bad
Texans
decision.
and the Colts
bad
so
decision.
far.
And the Cowboys? Or no?
Hyfetz, you want to do the Cowboys?
I do.
Okay.
I do want to do the Cowboys.
We're doing lots
Wait.
of away
Are we
games
allowed
here.
to pick? It has to be worse odds than minus 120, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. No, I don't know. It's Cowboys plus 1.5. It's the line.
No, I know. The Cowboys are favored by 1.5.
Did it flip? Well, it's not when Bill locked it in.
Oh, do we get it when Bill locked it in? Because right now it's Cowboys minus
No,
1.5.
it's whatever Bill said. No.
All right, let's do that then for sure.
Oh wow, you're
Getting a
right,
point?
Craig. It did flip during
It did.
the last couple hours. Let me double check what Bill,
No, it's
'cause Bill
Cowboys
locked
plus
it in.
1.5 is what we get to do. So let's just do
Wonderful. Let's definitely do that.
that. Texans so Cowboys to beat the Bears. We're taking the Texans to beat the Jaguars. I like that. The Texans defense is so much better than the Jags offense.
Is it crazy if I
Mahomes to beat
say
the Giants.
well, this is probably galaxy brain, but Raiders at
I actually don't mind
at
the Raiders.
Mariota.
I don't mind that.
There's a chance Jaden Daniels starts, and then that would look pretty bad. But
No,
also,
but I don't-
he'd
I
probably
think
be
that's-
pretty slowed down by a knee injury.
I think Raiders plus 3 makes sense because the Raiders, I think it's one of those things where the Raiders looked bad and no one wants to take them. But in reality, if the Chargers might just be awesome, and the Commanders are not as talented all around as the Chargers are. I don't actually hate the Raiders plus 3. That sounds a little crazy, but
Craig, what do you think?
I think that's a classic overreaction game, and then the Ravens just win. Sorry, the
Okay.
Raiders just win.
It's also tough because this is a short week for the Raiders and the Commanders have had 10 days. But
That's a good point.
And yet the Washington's more banged up than they are anyway.
yeah, all right. Hey, look, I
We
don't
don't
have any
have
strong
to.
feel, honestly, on a lot of these other ones. So if you want to do that, that's fine. You guys don't like my Rams plus 3.5 against the Eagles.
DK, how do you feel about betting against the Eagles?
Not. I just keep
Not
going
great.
back to Jalen Hurts going. There was a clip at the end of the game, the Chiefs Eagles game, where Chris Jones is like, "You didn't even get 100 yards," and Jalen Hurts, like, you can hear him on the mic go, "We won the fucking game. Shut your ass up."
Shut up, bitch.
It's just like, that just made me love him so much. So I don't know if I really want to bet against the Eagles right now, but I mean,
I kind of think
I don't feel strongly about any of
Should we
these
take
really.
the Steelers giving 1.5 to the Patriots. Just take Aaron Rodgers over Drake May.
I kind of like that. Craig?
I don't like that, but
Oh, well,
Oh.
Lions plus 5.5 against Baltimore.
yeah, I don't. Well,
Okay.
Betting
Real-
against Lamar sounds horrible.
let's do the two. Let's do the Colts to beat. Let's do the Colts. Let's do the Texans. Let's do the Cowboys. Let's do the Chiefs. And we just need. We
We
only
got
need
the
one
Chargers
more, right?
too, right? Or no?
We don't have that.
Sorry, we're not doing the Chargers. Okay.
This is hell. Bengals plus 3 against Carson Wentz.
This is hell. This
Free
is
money.
hell.
You want to
Nightmare.
do? Screw it. You want to do the Rams one? You want to do the Rams plus 3.5?
Yeah, let's do it.
Fuck.
All
it.
right, fine.
We're betting against the Eagles.
We could
go
bet.
wrong.
We could bake up a money line parlay if you really
No.
want to get saucy. Take the Bucks and someone else, maybe.
Are the Bucks going to score? Should we? I'm sorry. The Jets going to score? Should we just do Bucks minus 6.5? Is that insane? Well, their whole offensive line's out. That's not ideal.
You can Craig. You can do the
what's the
Bucks
Seahawks
and,
giving
and
7.5?
Packers money line for and it gets in there.
I think Rams plus 3.5, or just do the Seahawks giving 7.5 points. I think the Seahawks are a way better team on both sides of the ball than the Saints are.
I don't care.
Sorry, say it again.
You guys pick Seattle. If you want Seattle, that's fine. If you don't want the Rams,
Seattle giving 7.5, or is it Rams plus 3.5?
I like it when Craig gets a little bee in his bonnet about something. So let's go with the Rams.
I don't know what that phrase means, but sure. Okay, so we'll do the Cowboys.
Craig gets like a little thing. He just gets like he starts thinking about something, and then it just sticks in there. And
so
I like when he gets the conviction on that.
So Rams plus 3.5 versus Philly. Colts to beat the Titans by 5. Chiefs to beat the Giants by 6. Texans to beat Jags by 1.5. Cowboys to beat the Bears by 1.5. Sorry, no, they're favored. Dallas and Texas are favored, even better. Okay. Right. Today's Ringer 107 is brought to you by FanDuel. Odds subject to change. I think that's all we got. Our next Friday show is going to be in Dublin. So follow us on Instagram.
Send us recommendations for Dublin, by the way.
Yeah, if you live in Ireland or Dublin, maybe we can figure something out. Email us if you'd be interested in, if no promises whatsoever, but if you'd be interested in some kind of meetup or something, if we ended up meeting fans somewhere, email us at ringerfantasyfootball@gmail.com. And to be totally honest with you, completely depending on the number of people who email us, maybe we will schedule something. But email us if you'd be interested in something. Okay. Thank you, DK. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Carlos. Thank you, Kai. Thank you, Austin. Thank you, Ronak. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everyone, for listening. FantasyFootball.theringer.com for our Week 3 rankings. Thank you, Lord.
Lord.
Thank you, Ice Cube.
Ice Cube.
Ice Cube. Ice Cube. The way you can say it very white if you say Ice Cube.
Also in the studio.
That's right. Great episode. Probably one of the funniest of the season. Yeah,
that was a pretty great episode. The set, not the studio with recording, but like Seth Rogen's show, the studio.
Correct.
Which, Craig, did you get an Emmy? How close is Bellany to getting an Emmy?
Did you get to touch it?
I did get to hold an Emmy. I did.
Ooh.
That is a weird thing, though, is like people, like you win the award and everyone wants to hold your award. You know, everyone's like, can I hold it and get a picture with it? You know?
I know. They're really heavy.
What are they made out of?
Gold.
Really?
I actually don't know. The Oscars are made out of gold. I've held an Oscar is really heavy. I've held an Oscar.
I feel like they're gold plated or made out of gold.
Probably. Emmy, according to AI overview here, Emmy statuettes are made of copper, nickel, and pure silver, which are then coated in 24 karat gold. Dipped in gold, if you will.
DK, favorite Ice Cube song? Go.
It's a good question. Obviously now I'm trying to remember the name of it. Like, Today Was a Good Day.
Yeah. I think it's just called Good Day, or it was a good day.
It was a good day, maybe.
Yeah, someone did a whole thing trying to figure out what day it was, and it was really funny. And I think they found the day.
Ghetto Bird is a good song. There's a lot of them. He's got actually a lot of hits. I'm gonna look it up.
If you guys had to power rank days,
like of the week or in my whole life?
Of the week. I think personally, Friday's the best day.
Yeah, definitely. I think Friday.
It's not Saturday. I think you think it's Saturday, but it's not.
Saturday, you get some of the scaries already going on.
Friday is like Saturday's coming next, so that's sick.
Saturday's like we get those the future. Or Friday's the future's so bright we got to wear shades.
Friday's number 1, Saturday's 2. That's easy, right?
Yeah. If I really wanted to cook and be a hot take artist, I would make the case that Thursday's better than Saturday just because of the anticipation.
I kind of agree with that, Craig. I think Thursday might be my favorite day. Because the weekend is coming up. It's not here yet.
It's Friday Junior. Ooh, there's nothing. When you get done with work on Friday or on Thursday,
Friday
like,
Junior.
Friday's tomorrow.
Friday's like, oh, fuck. The weekend's almost over already.
I low-key think Sunday's not a top 3 day. Maybe not even top 4.
What? Yeah, no, I totally agree.
Like you could talk me into Wednesday over Sunday. I'm willing to listen. Maybe even Monday because there's the occasional holiday.
Oh, you got a case of the Mondays?
You're saying all year or during football season you think Wednesday's better than Sunday?
It depends. Like if my job isn't to watch football all day, then I'd probably take Sunday just because I can do whatever I want with my day. During the NFL season though, Wednesday. Maybe.
I would take Sunday over Wednesday because of the 12 hours of football that's on.
Even though you got to work?
Yeah.
He enjoys watching football, Craig.
Do we have Wednesdays off? What are you talking about?
I don't know.
I like Sundays more than Wednesdays.
Why I hate Sundays is because you have the scaries. It's like the weight of the week is all on you. Wednesday, you're like, I'm halfway done. over halfway done by the end of the day.
Yeah,
It's
we're
nice,
like on
you
the
know?
down. We're on the down slope now. of
Yeah,
the
you
week.
start texting people about plans. What are we doing this weekend? Sunday is just you're in a pit of hell.
Okay.
What are you talking about? Sunday scaries is like the most common feelings in the world. Sunday night is the worst
Wait,
night.
but are we talking about during the season or not? To be clear.
I'm just in general.
Okay.
Sunday scaries.
I like
You know?
watching football on Sundays personally.
Right. I mean,
It is technically a work day, but it's fine because a lot of good action and fantasy and everything. I will say,
So Saturday's your
I
day.
agree with your
I
take.
think
though,
it's Friday,
Thursday.
Saturday, Thursday.
Oh, you
I
agree on the
respect the-
Friday thing? I thought I was going to get pushback on that.
No, I think that's a fake hot take. I think Thursday over Saturday is a real take. I think that's a good. I respect drafting Thursday over Saturday. I actually see what you're saying. I would still do Friday, Saturday. Call me mainstream loser, but I'm like Friday, Saturday, Thursday, and then I don't think you could convince me the scaries of Sunday are worse than like actually Monday. You know what I mean?
No.
And like Tuesday to me is kind of the worst day. So I think I'd have to go Sunday, Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday.
You think Tuesday's the worst day, worse than Monday?
Yeah, kind of. Because like Monday is a communal experience where everyone's experiencing Monday together, whereas Tuesday just is awful.
No way. No way.
Craig, do you guys know the tweet that now has turned into like a meme where it's like the beer hit my hand on Friday, like I don't know how to pronounce it. It's like Mjolnir. It's
that word I can pronounce.
Hammer,
or not, yeah.
Thor's hammer. The beer hit my hand like Thor's hammer. That feeling is so, and I'm not virtue signaling here or anything like that, but like I do like the feeling of getting work done and having been productive during a day, and then fucking that beer hits your hand and you could just like whatever, like that feeling is so good.
I do think that the older I get, the more I like Fridays.
Yeah.
Friday hits harder when you're 30 than when you're 20.
Yeah, you earned it.
Yeah, you earned it more. So maybe there's a little bit of that. Like literally
the hay is in the barn and then you just can fucking enjoy it,
This is going to sound really sad and pathetic, but the Friday beers like account has made me like Fridays even more.
I think that's true.
You know what I mean?
Accurate.
It's made me, it's like changed my brain chemistry and how I think about like work ending on Friday.
Yeah, 100%, dude.
Which is so sad, but it's real.
That's the world we live in, Craig.
Yeah.
That
and
beer
it's
hit my
Thursday
hand.
right now, so I'm thrilled right now because it's Friday Junior.
Feeling fucking great.
Best day of the
right
week,
now.
Thursday.
Best day of the week right now. Right now is the best time. It's like 5:30. I'm on the East Coast. It's great.
Also, this is not, you guys don't understand this, but a good amount of Fridays, like I'd say 2 out of every 4 or 2 out of every 3, maybe. My parents take Calvin on Friday night and he has a sleepover there. So it's like parents just to get to go fucking wild on Friday nights. Go out to dinner, go get drinks. We went to this karaoke thing at the Wild Buffalo. Shouts to Wild Buffalo the other day. That was fun as hell. It's just like, it's the best.
Hell yeah.
When that beer hits your hand, like Mjolnir. How do you say it, Heifetz?
I think it's Mjolnir.
Mjolnir.
How many drinks? How many beers? is tomorrow one of those Fridays, DK?
No, I get Calvin tomorrow. But that's fine. I mean, I like hanging out with my son also. But
Well, give him a beer.
he's of age.
What is he, like 6? He can get you a beer.
What was the question gonna be if Calvin wasn't gone or was gone though?
I was literally gonna ask the dumbest question of all time of how many beers are you gonna have?
How many beers are you gonna drink?
And I wanted you to do the Brett Kavanaugh more. Three
beers? More.
Oh no, that was
more.
Michael Cohen.
More.
Oh, it was Michael Cohen.
How
not
many
Brett
times?
Kavanaugh.
20 times? More.
More.
50
More.
times?
More.
100 times.
Probably.
More.
Was Brett Kavanaugh the automatic? Was that Brett Kavanaugh?
Automatic.
I don't even remember that.
Now I'm thinking about the.
Doesn't Brett Kavanaugh have like an insane quote about like drinking? Oh, I don't know.
I Googled Brett Kavanaugh automatic, and the first thing comes up is a SoundCloud, the Brett Kavanaugh automatic times levels.
Oh, yeah,
So I'm
yeah.
assuming probably whatever you're saying.
Oh, it's the best. Have you not seen that?
I don't know.
yeah.
Now I'm looking it up. He goes, he was famously quoted for saying, "I liked beer." During his confirmation hearing. We drank beer. I liked beer. Sue me.
Oh, anyway.
Did we
Check
do a
out-
band?
Check out
Ice
that clip.
Cube. That's how, right. The day, right.
Heifetz, you're really struggling with the goodbyes lately.
Yeah.
He's just checked out. It's Friday for him already.
I think my brain is just soup. When do you end the show? Go for it. Just say goodbye.
Craig
easy,
Craig
Shank.
likes to commandeer the show anyway.
Goodbye, everybody.
That was pretty good.
It's everyone, but sure. Do I say everyone or everybody?
You say
I don't remember
everyone.
what I say.
Not everybody. Craig is more, you know,
We got Backstreet Boys on the mind.
getting sexual with it.
Must be 21 plus in present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus in present in DC, Kentucky, or Wyoming. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.